In the middle of the night or early Friday morning, depending upon where you are in the world, a group of experienced comics professionals get together to examine and instruct about the art form that they love. That's great comic artwork on Comics by Night, Fridays at 5 a.m. Eastern, here on the Indie Comics Network, indiecomicsnetwork.com.
What was that? This is not a charade.
Lockdown Games and Luke Stone Studios presents Hybrids, the role-playing game. This core rules to the new Base Plus 2 game engine allows you to design your own character and create your own homebrewed adventure, complete with charts, maps, and every resource needed to dive right into the Hybrids universe on your own, or continue where the quick play left off with a brand new module. Get caught up on the series with the Killing Field trade paperback. Enhanced with creator commentary and behind-the-scenes information, this special edition gives you even more value and entertainment. All this and more on Fund My Comic.
What a crowd.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this beautiful Thursday morning. Last week we had a week off and felt a little odd waking up on a Thursday morning and not brewing my coffee and hearing the bacon sizzle.
Yep.
Wasn't quite right, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't quite right. I want to welcome everybody to this.
Out of all that intro, the guy falling on his knees, the guy with the red pants.
Yep.
That wakes me up.
That does wake me
painful.
up.
Yeah,
that always makes me think of Glenn. Because Glenn every week would always comment on that guy and about how I'm sure Now that he's older, his knees are probably all jacked up.
Yeah, he felt that. He felt that.
He
Ooh.
felt it. Like, he felt it. Like,
Ooh.
legitimately, he felt it. Yeah. Yeah, so we are.
But he's happy. That show ran quite a few years, didn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it did,
What's
yeah.
happening? You probably had enough to retire on just from that show.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. He's doing fine.
He's doing.
He's
I
doing
hope
real
he's doing
fine.
well.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope he
doing
is,
well.
he can afford a really nice cane.
Probably.
Right. We're simulcasting this morning over to Rumble, as well as our normal locations.
Yeah.
I do have the chat popped out, so if you're over at Rumble and you want to join us, we can't necessarily bring you in and show your comments on the screen, but we can see what you're saying and we will make you a part of the conversation,
Yeah.
just like we do everybody
I
else.
don't know.
We'll do our best.
I'm feeling
do our
something in
best.
the water, guys.
That's
Yeah?
because you're in Panama.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Oh, and water quality down here is really good, actually.
I bet it's better than mine.
Yeah. And no, but no, and it has nothing to do with comics. But now with Tucker Carlson out of Fox News and being,
Ooh.
he's being wooed by Rumble to join them exclusively.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh.
Yeah, this could be the hit that will knock out YouTube. Like, this is what Rumble needs.
Oh, yeah.
Saw
I
a
think
video with Glenn Beck, and he's like going, "Come over here. Come
Yeah.
over here. We can make
Yeah.
some money. Come over here."
Yeah, exactly.
Well, did you hear why he actually got fired?
There's several
It was
stories.
stupid. No, so what it
Spin the wheel.
was,
Spin the
He-
wheel of the rumors.
what it came down to, it was he was at an event that was not a Fox News event. Okay? He was at something and he said that we need to take 10 minutes a day and pray for our country. The exec at Fox News let him go. He hates anything religious. In fact, he
no.
broke off his engagement because his fiance quoted a Bible verse. Like, this guy, I'm telling you, this guy's a problem over there.
Wow.
Anybody
only-
that has
that-
that kind of diversion to.
That's only one of about a half a dozen stories
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
about why he was there. They said there was a he was abusing one of his underlings.
Yeah. Dude, and
There's all sorts of you hear all the
There's all
evil
kinds of
come
stuff.
out because
Yeah.
they're so happy like vultures to pick at the carrion on the dead body,
But
Yeah.
dude, like, this is not death for Tucker.
Oh no!
If
No,
anything,
no.
he's
More money
unshackled
than he's
now.
ever made in his life now.
Yeah, he's unshackled now. So.
Oh yeah.
Well, so we all know that the news media's that the newspapers, they started out as propaganda pieces for political parties.
Yep.
So of course, if you believe anything that's coming from the mainstream news right now about anything, shame on you.
Yeah, it's
I
kind
mean,
of your
it's
fault.
Plain and simple, shame on you. Yeah. Yeah. How dare
You what?
yeah, it's like, dude, they're lying to you, right? It's like,
Yeah.
so, when you get all worked up about that. Last Tuesday night, we talked about, none of this is real. The news we read is not real. The things we see on the internet are not real. With AI, we're going to talk about
Yeah,
AI
dude.
for a second.
The Matrix is real.
The Matrix is real. We're
Yeah, dude,
smack
the thing
dab
is,
in
like,
that.
Without the cool gadgets, dude, we're just hooked to a little screen. Like, this is the
Yeah,
Matrix
we are.
right here.
Yeah, the little black mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Glenn, welcome, Glenn. He's in the chat today. It's good to
What's
see
up,
you,
Glenn?
man. Getting some work done. I know he's got a book coming up. Today, we're going to be talking about our books, guys. We're going to focus on our work a little bit
yeah.
today.
Oh, yeah.
Because we need to. Well, did you know that the Hybrids double feature is closing out today?
Oh,
No.
Like, it closes at
No.
noon. Yeah, I'm not extending it.
good to know.
Yeah, I got work to do. Yeah.
We all have work to do.
Yeah, I got work to do. So we're not gonna prolong that too much longer. We may have a second chance later on, but for now, it is what it is, guys. We're closing that one out. We got Grey Wolf Graphics here. Welcome, Grey Wolf. It's great to have you in the house. Thanks again for being a channel member. Nicholas Gears in the house. Welcome, Nick. It's great to have you here. Nick has a great project over on Fund My Comic right now. We got Agent Zero in the house. Hail, Agent Zero. It's good to have you here as well. We may even talk about your project just a little bit. Who knows?
Yeah.
Gray is saying, hiya, Pedro and Randy. Glenn says, I'd say he has no knees.
Yeah.
That might be possible.
Yeah, dude.
Possibly the truth there. And we've got Dr. Mask Retro Elixirs in the house. Welcome. Hail Nerd. Hail. Nerd Bacon. Hail chat. Tucker's video on Twitter had like 42 million views. Yes,
you can't buy
man.
that. You can't.
No,
buy that,
you can't buy it. I mean, that is some great stuff. That is fantastic.
No.
He's gonna.
And I'm
be
not a
fine.
fan. I'm not a fan of Tucker Carlson,
Right.
like, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
But dude, like, I'm happy for him actually. That
I
he's
don't-
out of there.
I had to, I used to watch him, but I had to stop. I had to stop. I mean, it's just too. Oh my gosh! I just get a headache. Yeah,
It's too front loaded. The things that sometimes when politics get too front loaded, like you just get saturated and like whatever.
can't do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we got Eric Hawkins in the house. Hey,
Great.
good morning, man. It's nice to have you here. Eric has a great project over on Kickstarter right now, I believe it is.
Nice.
And hey, my Jack Kirby book hits the stores Monday. Busy working my Manchester United book. This one hits the bookstores mid-May. Congratulations, man. Then Hatch, and then a children's book in the summer. Busy times, yeah.
There you go.
And it's nice to see you get the opportunities that you deserve, Glenn. I appreciate
Yeah,
that's
that's awesome.
finally happening for you, man. That publishing deal's a pretty good one. Hojo's in the house. Welcome. Good morning.
What's up,
Good morning,
Hojo?
man. It's good to have you here. And it said, yeah, too much politics can take you to dark places. It really can.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I like comics. That's why I'm getting so sick of politics being in comics so much, man. It just gets it's so daunting to deal with that every day. People's like, oh, well, you're a part of this group or you're a part of that, man. I'm just,
dude.
God, just take your head out of your butt and enjoy something for a change. This is escapism. And so today, after we cover the news a little bit, we are going to cover today's title is "A Picture is Worth 1,000 Words," and I really wanted to talk about this because my wife and I were having a conversation, especially around these topics of censorship, the other day, and she goes, "It's one thing to read it on the page; it's another thing to see the image or to hear it." And that, like I said, that's why we work in comics. That's why we use a visual medium. That's why Pedro does animation, because it's not. It's one thing to read it. It's another thing to see that happen. To get that visual representation. And so we're going to talk about the art of sequentials. We're going to talk about a guy named Wally Wood today,
Oh, nice.
which if you haven't heard of him, I think we're going to educate some people if they haven't heard of him. Yeah, he's known for making a lot of several great quotes. So, Glenn says that he got a busy last 6 months of this year. Helen has 2 ceramic exhibitions, and we're coming to the U.S. in July and August. Awesome, man.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, if you're going to be in the U.S., maybe we can. If
We're
you
all
come that
getting
far,
together.
maybe I can figure a way to get a little closer to you.
We're all
That's-
getting
that is-
together to have chicken.
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 Yeah.
Chicken.
Chicken,
Never, man.
yeah.
I need to get a new. I need to get a few new clips. That reminds me. If you guys ever watched the Ron Burgundy Anchorman, remember when he says, "Maybe we get together, have a little sex, a little chicken."
Chicken. Nice.
He's trying to ask Veronica Corningstone out.
Oh, yeah, dude. The only clip that comes to mind when people say chicken, like you can't really use. Hell, neither I can't. I don't think I can use it myself. So I'll
clip's
just keep it in
that?
my mind. Oh, it's from Dave Chappelle's special. You go
Oh,
into a restaurant, like I was like, "That's chicken." How did he know? I want a chicken.
Chicken.
He was absolutely right.
how did he know I wanted chicken?
Chicken. He was absolutely
Well.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no secret that and chickens
Right, yeah.
are quite fond of one another. Yeah, so, yeah, you can't use that.
Oh, that
You
is
can't
funny.
use it. Yeah,
That is
was
good
fun.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dave Chappelle is one of my favorite comedians.
Yeah,
Talk
dude.
about, I mean, it's so underrated. And for me, he's a goat. He is
yeah.
one of the greatest of all time.
I mean, among comedians, he is.
Oh,
freaking
yes.
nice. Like, yeah, he does what he wants. Like,
Yes.
when he said no to Comedy Central, like that freed him.
Yeah.
And he's the first one who did it. So
Yeah. Yeah. He set his own narrative, man. That is, I mean, that's a man that, like, I admire. You know, I may not see eye to eye with him on everything.
Yeah,
But
I
man,
mean,
I totally
you
admire
don't
him.
have to. You don't have to see eye to eye with everybody on all things. That's another fallacy.
Agent Zero says, Yardbird for the win.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're going to share, let's talk about some news today, guys.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's talk about a little news. Let me, I should have had this already shared, but, you know, I'm just dragging this morning. Here we go. Check this out. I don't know if you guys heard this or not, but a comic shop owner tackled assault suspect in North Carolina. This is actually up in Cooper, T-Bunny's
Neck of the
woods. Yeah.
Nice.
So Jacob Edwards, the owner of Time Tunnel Comics in Hickory, North Carolina. I got family in Hickory.
That sounds delicious.
It is. You know, in Hickory, everybody has one leg shorter than the other from growing up in the mountains.
Nice.
You know what it is?
Yeah. You get them on flat ground and they just walk in a circle.
Yeah.
Like a NASCAR or something.
They wobble.
Wobble, wobble, wobble.
So Hickory, North Carolina has been reported as helping in the arrest on a charge against a local man. Jacob Edwards, owner of Time Tunnel Comics in Hickory, North Carolina, has been reported as helping in the arrest of a 22-year-old Justin Bradley Johnson. Tell me that don't sound like a Southern name. Justin Bradley.
Justin Bradley Johnson.
You know, he sounds like he could be the, you know, like a political assassin with that kind of name.
Yeah.
On a charge of attempt.
You need a banjo to say that name.
Right?
Rodney Bradley Johnson.
Hey.
There you go. Hey.
Hey, y'all. Anyway, Justin Bradley Johnson. But get this, on a charge of attempted rape.
Oh, man. What?
So Johnson was charged by local police with one felony count of attempted second-degree rape in connection to an assault. So if you don't understand, if you don't know, a second-degree rape is someone that is not physically not capable of giving consent. So they're either passed out, they're something like that. Yeah, so that's second degree. Yeah. So he was fooling around, and so he was charged second degree rape in connection to an assault in a shopping center. Edwards told Hickory Daily News that he had closed up Time Tunnel Comics, was in his car about to leave when he saw fellow store owner of Prison Coffee, and I cannot say this name. We're just going to call her Ness, running and banging on the door of the comic shop, and told him of an assault against an unnamed person at the store.
Bandi.
Yeah, I'm going to trust you on that.
Yeah, Badani.
I'll trust you on that.
Badani.
Nastasia.
Nastasia.
I think it's Nastasia. That's how I would say it. But I'm probably wrong.
Nastasia.
Dude, I have Hindu blood, baby.
We're calling her Ness, okay?
Yeah, Ness.
So
Ness.
she goes over running. She bangs on the door of the comic shop and told him of the assault against an unnamed person at the store next to her coffee shop. So Edwards came to help and subdued Johnson with a chokehold with him and another friend, Mark Ball, holding down the young man until police arrived. Here's his quote. "Once I let go of the choke, he started to come to. But by that point, we had him on the ground. I'm a man of heroic girth.
Nice.
So I'm just on top of him, and he ain't going anywhere."
Heroic girth. What a great description.
Already, man.
Yeah. Great description.
I am a man of heroic girth.
Yeah. That's body positivity right there.
Right there. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I can't imagine. But so he continues on. So he ain't going anywhere. I'm still really off about it. And it's days later, so I can't imagine how she feels.
Wow.
I guess the moral of the story is, I hope next time it doesn't take knocking on 5 doors before someone will help. Like, help your neighbor, everyone. Look out for everybody. That's my message. So this guy is, So the owner of Time Tunnel Comics. Not only does this guy, I think there needs to be a comic book.
Yeah. Dude, I need to buy comics from this guy.
Yeah. Well, he
Shut
needs
up,
to have a
Rob.
comic book. Man of heroic girth.
It'd be like Fat Man, the human flying saucer.
Yeah.
The man of
Ti-
heroic girth.
Yeah. So, Time Tunnel Comics began in 2001 as a small retailer with a 500 square foot space in a strip mall on Spring Road, opened by father and son Edwin Price Jr. By father and son Edwin Price Jr. and Eddie Price III. In January of 2018, longtime shop employee Jacob Edwards took over from the Prices and moved the store to its third location there on 2nd Avenue in Hickory. So that is, if you want to go by and visit and meet this man of heroic girth.
Girth, yeah.
Now, I have talked to Bunny about this briefly, and he knows this guy, has been to this comic shop, and he is a man of heroic girth.
Girth, nice.
He is a large man. This is a large, large man.
Oh, we should come with a superhero called the Waist.
Yeah, the waist.
The Waist.
Yeah, so I thought you guys would like that. Would like that story there this morning.
Awesome, man.
Let's welcome my sketchbook 340 in the house. Welcome, Bacon. We got Russ Leach, the comic book black belt in the house. Afternoon,
Russ.
It's nice to have you here. We've also got Amanda B. Welcome, Amanda B. It's
Hey,
good to have
Amanda.
you here in the house as well. My sister Kelly is watching on Facebook. Hello, gentlemen. It's nice to have you, love you, sis. And then Grey Wolf says heroic girth means very obese, so he crushed the guy.
Hey, dude, you gotta use your body
Yeah,
weight. It comes in
I'm a
handy.
man, but I'm a man of heroic girth,
Heroic
so he
girth.
wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, and the thing is, like, was the guy like with his pants down, like the offender?
I don't know.
Probably. Like, I don't know. Like,
I don't
it's
know.
awkward.
It's
an
worth a
awkward
trip
look, though.
to Hickory,
Yeah.
North Carolina,
Just to get
to
the story.
talk to Edward, just to
Yeah.
get the full story, and say, just
So
to
I
kinda
hear
get a
you've got
sense of it.
heroic girth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, heroic girth. Heroic girth indeed. I don't know if you guys heard this or not, but SoCal Comics, actor Ray Buffer pled guilty of theft. There was some CCTV footage of this guy that had stuck some comic books up underneath his shirt, and they started releasing the photos, and somebody recognized him as the Curb Your Enthusiasm actor, Ray Buffer.
Doesn't ring a
And
bell.
so,
I'm gonna look him up.
yeah, he stole $854 worth of comics, and he finally pled guilty to that.
Wow, that guy?
That guy, yeah,
Wow.
Ray. The guy like the. Here, let's do this. I'll just,
Yeah.
since the story's not that compelling, we'll just show Ray Buffer.
Dude, what a weirdo. Jesus.
So I'm guessing the TV game isn't going so well.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm guessing the money's dried up because he stole, about 800.
Comics.
Well,
Those
some
are
people when they get that famous, it becomes about the thrill
Yeah.
Well, he ain't that
and what
famous.
they can get away with.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it.
That's
I mean,
the
it's
thing.
not like-
He's
I've
that
never watched
famous,
the
man.
show, so
I mean, it's not like Winona Ryder, like when she did
Yeah,
it.
dude.
yeah.
Like, clearly, she was doing it for the thrill. She was on top of the world. It was fun for her,
And working in production, like if you're not top tier, the money's not that good. So,
It's not that good, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently, it's so not good that he had to,
go for the.
in order to get them comic books, he had to steal them, stick them up
man.
under his shirt, guys.
Mm.
Hey, here's a fun one. I'm excited about this thing happening.
Yeah.
Rarely am I ever excited about anything that Marvel does. But I actually, I love the What If series. I know you guys remember that. I know our chat probably remembers that too. Yeah, everyone, who's Ray Buffer?
Yeah. See?
Yeah, nobody knows who that guy is. Let me see.
He'll end up working in porn.
Yeah, bro. He'll be
He
back.
isn't already. Porn,
You remember
baby.
that Louis C.K. short? Like,
Yeah.
Your name is your
he's close
destiny.
to working in porn, but he'll be back.
Speaking of Louis C.K. in short,
Yeah.
How did that thing turn out, right?
Dude, he's doing his comedy specials. He's selling directly to an email list, and he's making millions of dollars.
Yep.
He doesn't
Oh
need
yeah, I
Hollywood.
mean it's if you can find a direct way to your fans,
Yeah, exactly.
you're never gonna have a problem.
Mhm.
You're never gonna have a problem. That's the ideal. way
He's
to do
doing
it.
fine. He might never make a movie again, unless like Hollywood disappears. But his comedies, his stand-up is doing well.
Never
Dr.
say
Mass
never.
says, Dr. Mass has a great idea for a what if, for Marvel. What if all their characters weren't gay?
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
No,
How about
no
this?
deal, man.
Glenn goes, what if they made comics like the old ones? Wait, I just woke up. Scared myself to death.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Like Marvel right now is behaving like a partner that beats you, and he's asking you to come back. It's like we're like, no, never again. Like I don't care if their movies stink, if they don't sell a comic ever again. Like I just don't care.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I didn't have, well, I had better things to do, but I was not feeling well yesterday.
Yeah.
So I wasn't
No,
feeling
like
very
we
good.
can read the article. Like I'm not bashing the fact that we're reading the article. It's just that that's my attitude towards all this. Like,
Yeah, no.
oh, DC came out.
Well, no, I
Sure.
got, so I wasn't feeling well yesterday. And so I had better things to do, but I didn't do them. My son came down, we were having dinner together, and he said, hey, why don't we catch up on the Mandalorian? And so we catch up on the Mandalorian, and oh my God, we were like Mystery Science Theater 3000 in it. It was terrible. The last episode was meh at best. It was ridiculous. The episode with Jack Black and Lizzo, where it was so laughable. It felt like it was like something. It felt like
Saturday
it was a
Night Live
joke.
sketches.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it felt
it
like
didn't
a
feel
sketch.
real. Yeah, I was
it
like,
felt like
there's
a
no way this is real.
Yeah.
Like there's no way this can be canon. But lo and behold, it was. It was like an episode of CSI for droids.
Yeah.
It was the dumbest crap I have ever seen. And trust me, I have seen some dumb crap. You know,
Oh, wow.
I watched Matt Stone and Trey Parker's Cannibal the
Orgasmo?
Musical.
Oh, this is orgasmo.
I've seen that one too.
Okay.
But Cannibal the Musical, you know, the movie they made while they were in college, and
Yeah.
that is some stupid crap. And I've watched it repeatedly.
Yeah, those guys made a career out of failure, basically. 'Cause they
Right,
got kicked
yeah.
out of animation school.
I wish I could do that. So Russ Leach says, you know why What If used to be so good? Because all of the main series were good and didn't need What If to generate interest. Right, and it was always like that odd thing that could have happened. But now we're kind of living all of these people that should have written a What If or Elseworld. You know, now they're doing the real thing. But so Marvel launches a dark What If.
Yeah. What if
So,
your characters weren't a joke now? How about that?
Right. So Walter Simmons is starting this off with Loki wielding Mjolnir. Yeah. I'm like, ooh, that's a good concept. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
So here's what we got. We got a What If Dark. Loki number 1 is if Loki got the hammer. And then What If Dark Spider-Gwen number 1, co-written by Gary Conway and Jody Houser, with art by Raymond Box. Imagine what would have happened if Spider-Man, not Gwen Stacy, had died on the bridge. I thought they did that already.
I'm sure they did.
I'm sure they did. And then we got a Venom. So this is where's the What If on this one?
Why do they have to call it What If Dark? I mean, what kind of stories can they do that are darker than the crap that they're doing now?
What if we sell a book? How about that, Marvel?
So this one includes Ben Grimm. This is What If the symbiote attached to Ben Grimm created new Venom.
I got a what if for you. What if somebody wrote Captain Marvel that actually gave a crap about comics?
Oh
exactly.
God,
That'd be a good what if.
that
What
would
about-
be a
what
would be
about-
a dream.
What about bringing boobs back, Marvel? What about that?
Oh, so I have some things that we'll get into a little of this.
What if Kelly Sue
Here in
McConaughey
a
wrote
few.
Marvel in the 90s? That would be great. Let's see that happen.
Oh, dude,
Good
we should
stuff,
make a
guys.
show about this.
So speaking of,
Oh, look at
so
the
graphic novels were first and fourth most challenged books in 2022.
Is there a challenged book list?
There is a challenged book list, but this really comes
okay,
down to this whole
okay.
genderqueer thing, right?
Yeah.
So kind of what got me started on the conversation was I actually have some screenshots or some photos of the interiors of genderqueer. That way when I'm talking to someone, they're like, well, is it really that bad? I'm like, I don't know. You tell me. And they're always
Wait.
like, oh, God.
is that
If
the
I
cover?
should. No, this is the cover
That's a
for Flamer.
Different book called Flamer.
Oh, right.
Yeah, this is one of the other ones that is under fire. But graphic novels are on the list. They're number 1 and number 4 on these contested books for, for being banned or whatever. And I think it's because of the visual aspect of it, right?
It's a combination of words and pictures that freak everybody out, and there's still a lot of thought that all of this stuff's made for kids or is meant for kids. The big problem
Right.
now is that they're not going through. They're going through and intentionally pushing pornography on children.
Yeah.
Oh, 1,000% they are.
That's the only way you can properly describe it. Any levels of public decency. There's videos out there now that's showing if you want to get these out of the library, this is what you need to do. You go into a school board meeting and you show them and you read it to them and you go, do you want your kid reading this stuff? Maybe we should think about restricting some of these books.
Look, I could show one page of genderqueer right now, but if I
Oh.
did, my channel would be taken down.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
how obscene it is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other way around it. It's obscene. Even this article says that alleged to be sexually explicit. No, there's no. It's not. It is. I mean, if you can't look at that and see sexual explicit material, then maybe you're desensitized. You've seen too much.
Is this
Yeah.
from ICV2?
This is from ICV2.
Yeah,
Yes,
they're trying to be too nice. That's what it is.
They are. So it says genderqueer was not only the most challenged book of 2021, but it was a subject of an obscenity charge. Obscenity case in 2022.
Only
which
one?
we've talked about.
I read
Which we've
about
talked
2.
about, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the judge in that case struck down the obscenity statute as unconstitutional. So, but since then, the writer is taking genderqueer to from Oni to graphics. I think it's a good idea that Oni depart from that. They've departed from the people that pushed that to the kids.
This is
And
like Anheuser-Busch, though. It's too little, too late.
Too little, too late. Yeah.
Oni needs a rebranding right now, and they also need to censor that book if they want to sell it to kids.
Yeah. Well, Oni's I think out of the picture now. I
Yeah.
think they're going to be out of the picture.
Well, they've already got rid of their president, their vice president, and all of their marketing
so-
department. So
So it's going to be up to someone else to take care of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we've talked about this extensively here on the show that we believe, publishers should be responsible for this kind of stuff. And
we need to have a couple of them held responsible, is what it
Yeah.
is. And
But-
they need to go to the court and not escape on a technicality.
but here's a funny
Technicality.
yeah. So here's a funny I guess thought that I had while you were talking, Pedro. You said, "Can we bring back boobs?" Right?
Yeah.
So in the 90s, so the same people that are complaining about the comic book industry in the 90s over sexualizing women
Yeah.
and have made women in comic books, let's say sometimes almost grotesque
Yeah.
rather than attractive. These same people are okay with this cartoony image of a boy giving another boy fellatio.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they're okay with that. Like that's fine. So it's like it's okay to sexualize what they want to sexualize, but because
Dude, but it's completely hypocritical. Like
Yeah,
we
it's
get a
stupid.
nice shot of Chris Hemsworth's butt on Thor: Love and Thunder, didn't we?
yeah,
And I was taken to that movie. I didn't want to see it. Like, let's go see it. You love it. They're like, you're a comic book guy, aren't you? It's like, okay, let's do it.
look,
Yeah.
we talk all the
Naked. Yeah.
they sexualized and these men in these movies right? So Thor, we know that they did that to Chris, and then Chris Evans, that's America's ass, right?
Mhm.
So
There you go.
we've seen that, but you can't talk about these. They're not making the same comments about the women. It's and if you wouldn't make that statement about one gender or race, don't make that statement about another. That's for me. That's kind of my basic rule. If I wouldn't say that about X and get away with it, then I won't say it about Y and get away with it. That's kind of my basic rule there. But I mean, I think it's common sense.
You would think so, but common sense is gone nowadays.
Yeah.
Right.
I went to that funeral. It was-
Glenn says, "What if Zim wrote, Russ Leach illustrated, and I lettered and colored? Ooh, that would
dude,
be a nice fantastic
yeah.
launch.
We could do that.
There will be no money for a while though. But yeah, it would be fun.
Yeah, you're right though. There wouldn't be any money for a while, but
Yeah.
we could do it.
Yeah." Dr. Mask says, "I got through the first 2 episodes of New Mandalorian, and it was not good. No, it was not good. I wait for my son to say he wants to watch the next episode. So far, that hasn't happened." Yeah, my wife was like, "You can watch it without me." She left, and so we're watching it, and no one's really. I mean, it was just so poorly done. And Jon Favreau wrote a lot of this, and they're like, "Is he trying to get fired?" And I'm like, I think he's done. I think he wants out. I think he did this out of obligation because the creative control for this storyline has been taken away, and Kathleen Kennedy has her fingerprints all over this damn thing. And you're seeing what I'm seeing is a very talented guy, very creative guy that's like, look, they're trying to push agendas to hit these different phases that they want to milk this cash cow until it's the only thing it's putting out is powdered milk, right?
That's a husk.
And so,
It's too late.
And it's too late. It's
green milk.
It's a husk.
What,
at
5 years
point.
ago? Yeah.
And he comes along with one of the first great new pieces in Star Wars lore in decades, and they ignored it. They ignored it. That first season, they thought no one's going to like this. They didn't have any merch. They had nothing.
Yeah.
For
Actually,
Grogu.
the trigger was the end of the second season. Because you see the reaction. You can go to YouTube and look like the reactions of Luke Skywalker appearing on the ending of Mandalorian 2, and it's not a perfect series. It's not. But that ending brought hope to everyone.
And guys crying on camera.
Yeah, and there was a mandate. Legacy characters should be out. We should push for new characters, aka Rey, Kylo Ren, and all those guys. So Luke, Leia, Han, anything that basically elevates that, it's just like
gotta go.
Frowned upon. Yeah, and the thing is that by the end of Mando season 2, Caitlin Kennedy was occupied in this series that was all about inclusion and people of color, and it's
oh my gosh,
Shadow and Bone or something.
I'm telling you, that was the stupidest season I've. And some of the episodes were so bad. That droid episode was so bad. Yeah. The one with, and I love Jack Black. My daughter loves Lizzo. I'm indifferent with Lizzo. I'm not a fan or do I hate her. I think she's perfectly fine. I think she's a pretty lady. She's a big lady. Some people like the big ones, and that's fine.
The big ones,
if you like the fuller figures, man, I'm telling you what.
Thing, man,
there's something out there for everybody, and everybody deserves love. In my opinion, right? And
just be careful out there.
Just be careful out there. And I think, you got
you get them women of heroic girth, and you never know.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I had a friend, man, and that's all he wanted was them big girls. He just loved them big girls, and I'm that was his thing, right? And
more to love.
But the more to, I'm like, I'm fine with any of that. So those. No problems with that.
Yeah.
I think I do like her stance on, some of her songs. I think, her viewpoints on things are pretty based, and I enjoy that. Jack Black, I find him incredibly hilarious. He's almost sickeningly woke now, which but I can separate that from the fact that I find him enjoyable. His work in the Mario movie was so good. Oh my gosh. That Peaches song, he knew exactly what he was doing. He threw down the chord progression for Never Gonna Give You Up and wrote a song about peaches on there. And I'm telling you, it's hilarious, man. So I'm a big fan of Jack and his
he's
whole
a talented
personality.
guy.
Yeah. I just don't, but I can separate those things.
Yeah, the only thing,
I'm not a weirdo.
It's not like I have nothing against Jack Black, but the thing's like I see like a watered down Chris Farley when I see him.
Oh,
But
yes.
that's because I grew up watching Chris Farley, and dude, that to me is one of the best like physical comedians of the '90s.
Yeah.
So seeing Jack Black, like I see kind of like that DNA, and then it's like, oh, dude, I miss Chris.
I think Jack musically is
far
more brilliant than what people give him credit for.
Yeah, dude.
I think only true musicians can respect and understand, truly understand and respect what he is, what he is there. But having said that, he played a pretty straight role in that episode. Both of them did, but it was not. They were not the problem with that episode. They were perfectly normal in the roles they were playing. They took it serious. It was everything else. It was the worst writing. I'm telling you, there's a droid cantina that is just droids that don't want to be decommissioned. It's like they try to flip the script or something. And then so they all take this same fluid thing or whatever that's supposed to help refresh their programming or whatever. But there was a microscopic nanobot, so they're in like it looked like a morgue for bots, and they're doing like CSI stuff on this fluid, and I'm like, this is my kids. When my 13-year-old was like, this is stupid, then it's stupid. I mean, it was ridiculously dumb, and I could not believe it.
My sketchbook says, "Stop, Luke, stop! I just had breakfast."
It was so bad.
Not even Doc Brown could save this episode.
No, and he was almost the worst part of it, man.
Yeah, exactly.
And that whole that. I hope one day I can earn your forgiveness too. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm done. I'm done.
In 2 years,
So I'm done. I'm like, this is the dumbest episode I've ever seen. This is dumb. Oh. So didn't Venom start off dark? Yes, he did. What if all their characters were straight?
Yeah.
Well, it used to be. No, actually, there were still gay characters back then.
Yes, there were.
Write anything you like. Just put an age rating on it. That's I think that's what we say all the time, man.
It's not about wanting people dead or like not recognized. It's just like, dude, there's a time and a place for everything. Like I will not take my kids to a strip club either.
No.
That's all.
That's not the point here, though. It's not that. It's not that it was misrated. It was promoted intentionally.
It was intentionally.
Mm-hmm. That's intentionally. That's the main problem. Intentionally promoted for kids.
Yes, it was. And that is the problem. That's where this all comes from, and that's why the outrage from the parents are what it is, and it's well deserved. This was given into a institution of authority, and they are presenting this, and I don't blame the librarians. Granted, there are some librarians, some store clerks out there that are dedicated to a progressive agenda. So when we say woke, that's what we mean. Progressive agenda, like militant progressive agendas. That's what woke is. It's like a religion for them. And so these guys,
they do really hate that critical thinking, though. That's the thing. I can understand like you support a cause, but dude, be aware of what you're supporting. And if it involves like, dude, touching kids inappropriately. Maybe you're not one of the good guys.
Well, Sketchbook has right here. Says just a few years ago, writing and selling these books would have put you on a government watch list.
Yes.
Now you're getting an award. Here's what's crazy. Earlier this year, when we were looking at the numbers for graphic numbers, remember seeing genderqueer on there in the top 20?
Mm-hmm. Was it there?
Yes, it was there because I think they know the controversy was going to sell the book.
Oh man,
I think it was done intentional.
Well, back in I can't remember what year it was. I think it was 18 something. It was early on, like when it was back in our nation's history when there was a lot of book burnings. Okay, like the book burnings were like really crazy bad, and This is during the era of A Handmaid's Tale and stuff like that. So
the Puritan era.
Yeah, that period. So what happened was Boston was the epicenter of the book burnings, right? So authors would publish in Boston intentionally, knowing that it would cause controversy, so that they could sell more books.
Yeah.
They were doing it intentionally. So you can't tell me that some of these decisions aren't being made intentionally, knowing that they're going to use children as collateral damage to line their pockets. I mean, it's sickening. It disgusts me.
Yeah,
Well,
dude,
it's spike marketing is what they call
These
it.
people are locusts, yeah.
They do it on purpose, thinking that the negative publicity is valuable.
Well,
Marvel's
AG
the
Comics.
same way. Nobody was talking about Bud Light this time last year.
Nope.
Nobody.
Oh, but I mean that kind of.
But at least 20 to 30% more people were drinking it last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's not going well for them.
30,
Like they're talking about it, they're just not drinking it. And
Yeah.
You don't make money with punk.
Look, I don't drink beer. I don't drink alcohol at all. I can't, even with my medications, even if I wanted to. I can't do it with the medications that I'm on. But even when I would drink, Bud Light would not touch my lips. That stuff was terrible. I understood that it was not a good beer. Yingling, that stuff I drank. I drank a lot of Yingling.
The thing is,
when
like,
I drank
whether the beer is good or bad, it's irrelevant. Now it has the stigma that if you drink it, you want to pair it with sausage.
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and
I saw my granddaddy drinking a Bud Light the other day.
Yeah, exactly.
Now he's walking around in a skirt.
and the script, yeah, exactly. They did that to themselves. And it's over, man. It's over. That's not going that way.
Yeah. Well, let's welcome Paul from AG Comics. He had a great launch last night on Bancroft's channel.
Awesome.
It was the first Fund My Comic launch party on Michael Bancroft's channel, and he's got another one coming up Friday. We got Edwin Acevedo's White Leopard coming up and this weekend, so we're pretty excited about that. And Fund My Comic is growing, guys. We'll talk about that briefly today. But heck, we'll talk about it a little bit more because the 3 campaigns we're going to take a look at are on Fund My Comic today.
Yeah.
We all have one. We'll look at those. Let me see what else we got going here. We've got Red Wine Rocks.
Yeah. Dude, like, and the thing is, like, I have a testimony for Fund My Comic. I have a campaign that's not doing that well in Fund My Comic.
Yeah.
And dude, I'm not faced. It's about a book that's already funded and whatnot, but the panorama has changed, guys. The age of the plethora of shill shows that will carry your campaign is gone. Gone for good. So right now, like, dude, some people just get bitter and say like, oh my god, I'm never gonna do a comic again. No, I'm just analyzing what's happening right now, and I will be back with a new campaign. But okay, I don't want to like take over the show, but I have a plan that I want to like share with you guys.
We'll talk about that here in a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. We'll go. We're talking about our campaigns today.
Oh, awesome.
We've got to talk about our stuff a little bit.
Yeah.
So Dr. Mass says we just had a teacher at my son's school get suspended for bringing in a BLM poet who didn't have a lot of nice things to say. That's nice. Finally, we need to like stand up. Like there's no such thing as reverse racism. There's just racism, right?
And the things like BLM does not represent my tribe. I just want to say it right now. It's ridiculous. They're grifters.
Look,
they just have to fill their pockets.
At the core of it, I do believe that Black Lives Matter. I believe they matter so much that we need to stop, that we need to go against Planned Parenthood, who was originally founded to cause a genocide of black people by killing all their babies. Like let me say the thing that no one wants to say. The most racist thing that we do in our country is kill black people before they're even born. That's a problem. Why do you think the Democrats are so on board with that?
Yeah, because the Democrats were like the
They
real
were the
racists
party
the
of the
South.
KKK.
Yeah,
They were the
exactly.
ones that instituted Jim Crow laws. They were the ones that, the Free State of Johnson, that that movie
Hmm.
that
Matthew McConaughey.
all right was in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. Those were Democrats they were fighting against down there.
Hmm.
That is, and they at some point they've been able to get the media to help flip the script for them. And look, I was born at night, but not last night. I'm not buying this.
Yeah.
And yes, I am pro-life. Obviously, my Christian faith says that I need to love everyone because everyone's made in the image of God. And I think the least loving thing that I can do is slaughter someone made in the image of God before they've had a chance to take their first breath. That is wrong, right? So yes, I am pro-life, but I'm also pro-adoption. So I think if you're out there and you're pro-life, you have to be willing to take in foster kids. You have to be willing to adopt. That has to be something that we look at. And rather than just not give instead of giving funding to places like Planned Parenthood, you know what they're doing? Adoption is so ungodly expensive. We need to make that process easier for people that
Yeah.
really want to have kids. And there needs to be government assistance. Instead of giving money for abortions, give money for these parents that want to have kids but can't have kids. Let them adopt these babies.
Dude, there's
telling you.
your slogan right there. Money for adoption, not for abortion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, all I'm just a cartoonist. That's all I do. I just
Yeah,
draw comic
exactly.
books.
Yeah.
So
This got
I
heavy.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. Controversy is this generation's fad. It's food. People they want likes. And here's the thing: we're learning right now that likes on social media and impressions on YouTube, they do not equate to sales. They do not necessarily equate to sales because everyone's trying to figure out right now, with discretionary funds down, how do we make money?
Yeah.
How do we make money? My sketchbook says, like I said, I didn't drink Bud Light even when it wasn't cool to not drink Bud.
Yeah. When it was manly to drink Bud Light, I was out too.
Yeah. Yeah, Hojo talks about it all the time. Hojo makes his own beer, so it doesn't bother him
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Aaron from Wolfbane's comic. Did you guys know Aaron was black?
Aaron's black.
Matter what?
No, literally. No, so that's an inside joke that Aaron knows, and some people that are watching knows. And so we had been in back rooms and chats and stuff with Aaron for a long time, and every time we'd gotten on stream, he was always behind an avatar. And then one day he comes on and he's not on the avatar, and he talks, and we look, and we're like, and someone, who was it that said, "Aaron, you're
It
black."
was Belmont. It was Belmont.
Belmont. He was like, "Aaron, you're black."
Nice.
So he had been on camera for a while. And then all of a sudden Belmont chimed in and says, "Wait, Aaron's black?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been told I'm not black enough, which is
you're not.
funny. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing I heard. I was helping someone. They're like, "Oh yeah," they said black people are racist, and I go, "What? I thought they weren't racist." Because no, if you're not dark enough, like people if you're too dark or not dark enough, they, and I'm like, that's ridiculous, man. That's
Oh, dude. And the
That's
way the things we call each other. Like I don't want to get your channel struck, but the things
yeah.
we call
So
each
don't get me struck, man.
No,
Hey,
I will not.
Hey guys, woke up late, needed some bacon. Yes, and here's your bacon.
Yeah.
BLM
Yeah.
as a movement doesn't care about black lives who are killed by other black lives. This
Yes,
is
sir.
coming from another black life. Yeah,
Yes,
they
sir.
they really focus. They don't focus on the crime, drugs, gangs, things like that, and helping those communities. All they focus on is drawing.
Black lives
and it-
matter, but communist organizations slush funds do not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, how about black families matter? How about that?
yeah,
Having two
yeah.
parents in the home.
Family. Here's the thing.
We'll fix all of this.
Family matters to me.
Yeah, exactly.
As a former pastor, that was always my focus, was on family. I don't know if you guys know this, not to get again religious with you guys, but did you know the very first attack that Satan ever perpetrated on mankind was against the family unit. God had established a family unit where Adam was the head of the household. He was the pastor of his home, and he had his role. The wife had her role, and so the very first thing that Satan does is he questions and he brings into, he breaks that family unit. The attack was not necessarily on. It was a matter of obedience and not, to obey or not obey. But really what it came down to is it broke the family unit, because every day in the cool of the day, Adam and Eve would walk with God in the garden. It was a family affair is what it was. And so when Satan went to Eve and enticed her, it, rather than going to the husband and trying to entice him, he usurped the authority of the man in the relationship there. Okay, so there's when you really break it down on what God had laid out for the family unit, his attack was on the family unit. That's really what it was. And he has not stopped to this day. He's trying to take dads out of the pictures. He's trying to make moms overworked and exhausted. He's trying to make kids be raised without parental influence. And right now he's really working in our nation, in our world, because he's trying to take the ability for parents to parent their kids away completely. Now, teachers are able to have conversations about kids' sexualities and gender. They're allowed to get them hooked up with doctors, where now parents, in some cases, are being completely gone around if they're seen as problematic in the situation. Come on, guys. We gotta open our eyes to this. It's not good, man. Yeah, problematic. I've been told I'm problematic. I don't really care, though. So anyway, let's move on. Did you guys hear that Ted Richards passed away? Creator of Dope and Dan, member of the Air Pirate Collaborative.
Oh,
really?
Man.
Yeah, target of Disney lawsuit.
Rest in peace, man.
Yeah, rest in peace, Ted.
Yeah.
So, an underground comics creator, Ted Richard, died of lung cancer on April 21st, 2023, at the age of 76. Richard was the creator of Dope and Dan, Easy Wolf, and the 40-year-old Hippie. And he was a member of the Air Pirate Collective, whose send-up of Disney Comics was the subject of a long-running lawsuit. Richard was born in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and his father was a member of the Green Beret. So his family moved frequently when he was a child, and he moved to San Francisco in 1969 when he was 23, after serving 3 years in the Air Force, and quickly became part of the underground comics with an X scene, making friends with Gilbert Shelton and Bobby London. It was during this period that Richards created Dope and Dan, Easy Wolf, and Mellow Cat, all humorous characters whose exploits were drawn in a cartoony style.
Dope and Dan.
Yep. So, rest in peace, man.
Yeah.
We lose another
Shame to
good
hear.
one. We
Yeah.
lose another good one. Lung cancer.
But, he seems
Cancer
to
sucks.
have a
Damn
long
cancer.
run, man. Nice run.
Yeah.
And
Guys, let's talk
we
about
got
Wally
good
Wood.
books. Yeah.
Here's some quotes from Wally Wood. So, Randy, you're probably familiar with Wally Wood.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about Wally? Why should we listen to Wally? What's Wally got that we
Why
don't got?
Why should you listen to Wally? Just look at his work. That's
He
it. Never
wrote the
draw
book.
anything you can copy. Never copy anything you can trace. Never trace anything you can cut out and paste up.
Yeah.
Wally Wood.
So there's so many things that I look at from Wally. I'm just gonna pull up his wiki page.
Wally was one of those rare artists that was picked up by Bill Gaines. Started in EC, doing just about drawing anything that you can imagine, but really known for his science fiction work. Went over to followed him with Mad, did a bunch of stuff with Mad, and then jumped into the mainstream market wherever he could. Co-founder of Thunder Agents, worked on Daredevil. He was brought into Daredevil after Bill Everett was unable to continue working on it, and I think Joe Orlando was in there in between. He did a couple of issues. Wally's the person that is credited with turning Daredevil's costume red, solid
Yeah.
red, because the yellow and black costume was just too ridiculous looking for him. He needed to simplify it down so that he could draw it.
And fast.
quickly. Yeah,
Yes,
draw it quickly.
fast. See, that's as a guy who's trying his best to become faster and more efficient, Wally Woods is
Really made the character iconic. Actually,
yeah, he really did.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that I grabbed from. In fact, the look and feel, like a lot of these talking heads, he's got like there's some stuff that I have saved in a folder where he kind of gives these different panel options so that you can make it more visually interesting when people are just talking.
What is it? 12?
Yeah,
I think it was
you
12 panels that always work.
Yeah, the
I
12
think it was
panels
called. Yeah.
that always work, and we'll take a look at that here in a second.
Buscema, when he went and wrote the Marvel Way, he used a lot of Wally Wood concepts.
Yes.
Yep.
Drawing comics the Marvel Way used a lot of Wally Wood concepts.
Yeah, he did Daredevil, Fantastic Four, Stiltman. He was on so many different things.
He was
worked
anywhere
under
that
Jim
he
Shooter.
could for as long as he could. He ghosted Flash Gordon and Prince Valiant for, I think, a couple of months at a time. He did. He picked up the Spirit section for a good couple of months after or behind Eisner back in the 50s. Did some real classic stories. Towards the end of his life, he was more of an inker than anything because he could turn an inking job around incredibly quick. Worked on Stalker with Ditko and did some of my favorite All-Star comics as well. Did right as they were reviving the Justice Society. He is also the creator of Power Girl as well.
Yes. So early on, I thought, especially when I started working primarily digitally, I was like, I still have to draw every line, every technique, everything I have to draw. And then I started to really get into like learning more about sequential storytelling. Because Rand, early on, I wasn't very solid with my sequentials.
Well,
so
we
I
all
hired
have
someone.
we all have a couple thousand lousy pages into it.
Yeah.
Dave Sims said that, and then at your 2001, you're almost competent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually hired someone to do my layouts that had a lot more experience with it and had a better eye for it until I got better at it. Which now I do all my own layout for the most part, unless I'm just trying to speed up. But while I'm learning all this stuff, I'm doing Will Eisner's books and stuff because we are a visual medium. That's what we do. And, the phrase show, don't tell comes up a lot. As much as we love Stan Lee, he did not understand that concept. He would put unnecessary words over Jack Kirby's art all the time because he felt the need to tell what was happening in the panel that we could clearly see, right?
Some writers enjoy listening to themselves, and they like using a lot of bombastic dialogue instead of letting the pictures do their job. Yeah.
Right.
The proclivity to be verbose, basically.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so when I'm kind of doing all this research, one of the things is that quote that never draw anything that you can copy, never copy anything you can trace, and never trace anything that you can cut out and paste up. So it got to the point to where I was like, well, there are certain elements and certain things that I do all the time. Well, let me make a brush for that. Let me get a brush that does that. That way it can speed up my process and get this thing done faster.
This is also a mentality that comes out of being paid by the page instead of by the work. When you have to hit a deadline, you hit a deadline. You hit a deadline any way that you possibly can. And believe me, Wood had his share of missed deadlines.
Yeah.
That's why towards the end of his life, he was more of an inker than he was a pure production guy, especially when it came to the mainstream.
Look, we all do. You can't. I don't know anyone that 100% of the time can meet the deadline. You try your damnedest. You really do. You try as hard as you can to do it. But, sometimes life just happens. Sometimes you have a bad day. And those 3 pages that you needed to get done today, they didn't get done. So now it's 6 pages tomorrow. Guess what? I can't draw 6 pages in a day. I'm not that fast. So guess what? I might get those 3 pages done, but now I've got to work over the weekend. And that's where this other quote come from. And this started to shape me, especially when I started to think about sequential storytelling and being an actual comic book illustrator. See, there's a lot of people, and John Malin talks about this a little bit occasionally, and he kind of disrupts things when he says stuff like this, which is nice because every once in a while that needs to happen. But he said there's a lot of people out there in independent comics that are pinup artists and cover artists, but you don't see a lot of them striving to be good sequential artists. So I do pinups and I do covers. In fact, I'm working on a cover right now for Bunny. It's a wraparound cover. Bunny, you're gonna be real impressed with this thing. It's gorgeous, and I'm gonna get you something hopefully tomorrow, so you can take a look at that, so we can get that thing colored. But you do those things. But Randy, you and I talked about this a while ago, that I kind of stopped really when people were, hey, I've got a cover, or I'm looking for an artist for a cover. I stopped responding to those messages, and I'm focusing only on sequential, like doing sequential art. And occasionally, upon request, I'll do a cover, or if things are tight and I need to knock a cover out real quick, I can do that. Then I'll do that. But my focus has been on sequential storytelling because that's what I want to be good at. Because I look at the Wally Woods, I look at the Will Eisners, I look at the Jack Kirbys in the world, and I want to. People don't just remember the cover artist. Like there's some out there that get that kind of notoriety. Is this show about comic or fairy tales? I don't know. It's about whatever we want it to be about. That's how we do it.
Oh no, that's not what I understand, Glenn. He did it in order to streamline it down. But
Luke,
it did make it iconic, though. Yeah.
Look, what you just said reminded me of what one of my animation teachers told me, and it was like, you're as fast as your worst day.
Yeah.
We're doing art, and dude, some days you're gonna be on fire, but don't gauge your speed to the days you're on fire. Gauge your speed to the days when you're struggling, because that's where the training comes in. And that way you can give proper, because clients can be unreasonable or not. A reasonable client would say, hey, how long was this take you? And you tell the client, and then you agree. So gauge that time on your worst days. That way you have a little bit of leeway that if you get a couple of days where you're on fire, then you even have time to say, hey, I got this. You want something to change, and it works for me.
Russ says he's never missed a deadline, and
there you go, Russ.
That's probably okay. I'll concede that you probably haven't in many years, but I would say, did you learn early on? At what point did you learn how to manage the expectation of how many pages you can do in the time frame that was allotted? How did that, at what point? Was there ever as you were starting out, ooh, I can't do it that fast or whatever?
Yeah.
Was there ever a time? How did you get to that point? Because that's what I've been working on. I'm currently working on now. Is how do I get to that point? So there's his quote here. I worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for years. Being a comic book artist is like sentencing yourself to a life imprisonment at hard labor and solitary confinement. I don't think I'd do it again. When he said that, I was like, ouch. And it made me think, do I have the passion to be a sequential storyteller or not?
Well, you also have to remember that Wood worked at the grind during a time when these artists were never respected or looked at as being the true artists that they were.
Right.
So a lot of that got to people. I mean, you that's why you have these curmudgeons in the industry. You meet them at a convention and they're bitter as hell because they've worked and they've worked and they've worked and they haven't gotten the recognition that that quite frankly that they deserve. Wood was very much like that, but he was also very much his own pioneer. He's we've covered, we've looked at Wood and Comics by Night, just like with Alex Toth. You get this attitude about you where you don't want to suffer fools,
right?
Because you've learned your work, you know your craft, and anybody that doesn't know it, that thinks they know it, comes off as a complete idiot,
right? Yeah.
So the quote that you probably have there on Wood working 12 hours a day probably happened later in his life. You know, he was not a happy man towards the end of his life, and in fact ended up committing suicide.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Tragically.
Tragically,
Yeah,
the
he was
story
down to
is that
doing
he was
porn.
losing his eyesight due to alcoholism. I think it was. A lot of these guys were like, I can't remember the exact term for it, but they were frustrated, very, very frustrated, and they had a tendency to lean back on substance abuse. So, towards the end of his life, the story is he got up one day and figured out that he had gone pretty blind, struggled around for his gun, and you know, took his life.
Glaucoma.
Something like that. I'm not positive, but that's only a
Yeah.
theory because he died alone. But
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Russ, I've learned to overshoot on how much time I need on things.
that's what you
Now-
have to do anymore. Yeah.
Now, I'll be really honest with you. This year has been very difficult for me because I was supposed to be in one spot, and so for 4 weeks, I couldn't do anything. I produced nothing because I was trying to move, and that put me 4 weeks behind. And I had a schedule of 3 pages a week. Now I can do 6 to 7 pages a week if I need. But I had a schedule of 3 pages a week on one project, and knowing that I had more projects coming up that I was going to need to work into that schedule. And unfortunately, with 4 weeks, that put me behind 12 pages. You know, so now it's been catch up ever since. And then and then this Fun My Comic thing started, right? So it's even more catch up. So it's catch up upon catch up now. And it's like for crying out loud, can I get some mustard here? You know, it's just it's all the same thing right now. But we are getting closer to that, and working with the writers and stuff. I've been able to get some leeway on some of those things so that I can get caught up, and we create new deadlines now. And so far we're doing really good on the new deadlines. And I've started grabbing, instead of me trying to do everything, I'm Luke Stone Studios. They hired Luke Stone Studios, which means, guess what? Instead of Luke coloring that page that I just drew, I just hired Patrick. You know, I said, look here. And I showed the writer, I said, what if I just have him color this? Look how good he did. And he goes, oh, that would be amazing. I said, yeah. So now I'm just, now I'm doing a lot of art and then throwing them out to get colors and stuff. 3 pages a week, luxury. Well, yeah, that's 3 pages a week for one client. So it's 3 pages a week I've got 2 different clients right now that I'm doing that. And as soon as I finish up one 10-page story, I have another 14 pages that have to come behind that. And so everything else that's my personal stuff gets done at night. So everything else all day long, it's everybody else's work, which I'll be honest with you, I'm busy and I'm exhausted, but gosh, man, I love it, Randy.
It's a grind, man.
This is the most fun I've had professionally ever in my life doing anything.
Yeah.
And I mean, heck, I used to travel playing music. I love this. I love, getting the art. I'm doing a couple pages traditionally so that we can sell the artwork. And just breaking out those tools and gosh, man, I freaking love it. I can't express how much I love this time period.
Yeah.
And so when I read that quote, I didn't want to get there, but I wanted to get to his efficiency and his understanding of what he could do.
Scroll
so those are
back
a
up.
couple
What's he say about an editor?
An editor is someone dedicated to destroying the work of a creator.
There you go.
Ouch.
I agree, but in a good way. I think it happens
This is
in a good
very
way.
bitter, though.
He's very
Well,
bitter. He's
that's
very
that's
bitter.
how he was towards the end of his career. A lot of these, like I said, guys get very frustrated with their work because they're very proud and they've learned their skill. And when they don't get the appreciation, it sometimes it can turn into bitterness. Sometimes it turns to alcoholism. You never know. Sometimes they do what he says that you just haul yourself up in your room or your apartment, and that's all you do is work. Screw everybody, just work.
Yeah,
That's all you want to do,
I seen
because that's where your fulfillment is.
Yeah,
You know,
I sincerely hope we're not going out like that. But the thing is, like, our situation is different. We're not working for any
well,
kind of man.
I totally plan on dying at my board.
Yeah, but not in bitter resentment. That's what I'm.
No.
Yeah, I'm not.
That's because I'm doing stuff that I love. These guys were
Exactly.
these guys were under a page rate trying to pay their bills.
Under a
You know,
yoke,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wood's best work is the stuff he did on his own. He's created Squatron, which is a big, just high level art fanzine that he did for years. That he brought in all of his friends. They did their best work, and that's why you can't find these issues of Squatron anywhere. Is because it's all of their best work, all in one place. All saddle stitched. Somebody out there needs to put a collection together of that stuff. This here, the 12 panels that always work, was probably published in Squatron.
Probably, yeah.
But it was a literally a fanzine for the love of sequential art.
Oh, cool.
If I had copies of it, I'd show it on Comics by Night, but they are next to impossible to find anywhere. You might find them up. You might find some of them listed up on eBay.
I want to get a higher
But I'd
resolution
hate to think what they're asking for.
version of this.
Yeah.
I want to get a higher resolution version of that.
I know a sequential artist that has it tattooed up and down his arms.
Yeah, I want to show a higher res image of this so people can see it better. Yeah.
I'm surprised the Wood Estate hasn't made a large poster of this.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
It's printed off and on my wall.
Yeah.
I mean,
Is it? Okay.
yeah, I mean, well,
Don't
I
they
mean,
have,
when you're
like,
doing
a print
panels
file
all day
somewhere?
long,
Needs
you've
to
got
be done.
Yeah, when you're doing panels all day long, you've got to have
Yeah.
ideas for things. I mean, it's so quick. The other thing that I use a lot of reference for Jack Kirby panels. Like his page layouts. Like he would have like these basic grids that he would use for 5 panels, 4 panels, 9. And so I've gotten to the point to where I will use those tools and I'll use those reference to just build out a page real quick when I look at the, it's like, oh well, that's 5 panels, so
Sure. Yeah.
let me read it over real quick, and which panel is the the big one, the real giver, and then I'll pick one of those layouts that gives that panel the real punch, and so then I just work on those, and that way I can knock it out from start to finish. My son asked me, like, when we were in Florida doing the funeral thing, we were talking about, like, one of my pages, I had moved the work from my computer to my iPad so I can continue doing it while I was traveling, because you can't get on a plane with 11 by 17s and all that kind of stuff. You can, but you got to check all that, and on these little Airbuses, it's very difficult to do all that stuff. So I just use my iPad and did it digital while I was gone. But so while I'm working, I had so I moved it over, and I didn't realize that it didn't save right, and so I'd lost maybe 45 minutes to an hour's worth of work that I did on a panel. And so when I did that, I was like, oh dang it! I said I got to redraw that today, and so I was sitting there redrawing that, and we were talking about page rates and how long it takes me to do a page versus how much I get charged, how much I charge for them, and all that kind of stuff. And after the conversation, I thought it was over. And the next day, we're getting in the car, and he goes, "Dad, I figured it out last night. You make this much an hour, don't you?" And I go, "Yeah, yeah, roundabout." He goes, "That's actually pretty good."
Nice.
I said, "Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad, but I've got to work hard to get there." I said, "If I take time, like, you can cut that. If a page gives me trouble, I can cut that hourly rate in half in like 2 seconds. Like it just, one little problem or one little mishap. Like that page right there, it was not that. I did not get that. It was like a third of that an hour because it took me, because I had to redo it, And, but, so these guys, they're thinking about terms of hours and how quickly they have to do it. This is their full-time job. This was their full-time job as it is mine. These panels, because what you're trying to do is like, you want to make these big establishing shots. You want to make these big, beautiful scenes, right? You want to do like an Ethan Van Sciver, where every page is a masterful work of art. I mean, it takes ages. Obviously, it takes about 4 years to get a book out when you do that. When you're trying to produce, like these guys were producing, I don't know how accurate this is, and maybe Glenn can verify, but I heard that Jack Kirby was doing 9 pages a day.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That seems impossible to me. But when I look back at some of the stuff that he did, and knowing that he would work with an inker, like he would put in these blocks knowing that the inker would do they would fill that in or do the texture or whatever.
Yeah, but you're also talking about a professional that had done it for decades, and was literally seeing pages in his head.
Yeah.
I mean, he would start at the right or the left-hand corner and work down to the lower right corner, and it would be done.
Yeah.
And then he'd pass on to the next page.
Right. Here's the other thing that's really interesting about that, though. It wasn't just that he was drawing pretty pictures. It was that he was telling a story.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he was masterful. And that's what we're talking about here with these guys. They're masterful at telling the story. It's not just making these big pinup looking pictures. It's not just being a cover artist. It's not that. It's being able to communicate and tell the story. Mm-hmm. And that's what Wally's showing here with these pages, with these panels. This is a way to tell the story. And as you can see, these are quick. Like the big head, the extreme close-up, the back of the head and the part of the head, these things are great. You've got the text bubbles in there, but you don't have background that you have to worry about. I'll tell you, one of my favorites is these high contrast ones that he does. This one here with the dark white background day. This one, foreground dark. I love that one. I love the single panel with he does that he did with the car. He did it here. Like, I love that angle. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, I rob Wally all the time on this one, where I just do that and with a little shadow. It saves so much time when you're trying to get that dialogue in there, and they're doing the exposition. What's the word for that?
Yeah. Exposition. You're right.
Exposition,
yeah. So so great work, sequential storytelling. It's because it's a visual medium. And I think that's why graphic novels are having the trouble that they're having right now with being on these ban lists. It's because it's one thing to read the words, but it's another thing to see it.
See them, yeah.
It's another thing to see the image in front of you. Glenn says when Kirby was doing all of those pages, not all of them were full pencils. A lot were basically layouts for others like Buscema, Severin, etc. Yeah, like the shield
for them to work up. Yep.
Yeah, that I can see. Like, if that was the case, then I could probably get there. But I'm doing a full pencil. I don't do full pencil anymore, Randy, unless I'm doing traditional.
Yeah.
Since I ink my own stuff, I do a layout and then I go straight to inks.
Yeah, enough to see it in your head.
Yeah, enough to know what I'm going to do with it, and then bam, and then so I spend a little more time on the layout of things, and then I spend the majority of my time on the ink. And then I got to using that quote, why don't draw what you can copy, or whatever. So I started making brushes, and even now I have little tools traditionally, like markers and stuff like that. And my son and I went looking for a new quill pen because I learned how to ink comic books from my art teacher in 1995. And he had the quill pens that in the art class, that's what I got to use. So I got to use those old, kind of rusty art quills, and I love inking with those. And so I'm trying to find a new set, something I'm gonna be happy with.
Yeah.
And the ink that I want to use, and which that stuff's not readily available like it used to be.
No, and it's getting harder and harder to find thanks to the digital age.
Yeah, and so I'm like, because I know I've got these pages to ink, and I'm like, well, I've got markers and my brush markers that I can use to ink this, but man, I would love to do some of this with a quill.
Yeah.
Knowing that I've got that coming up, and so I've been trying to find that. But
well, unless you're careful too, quills tend to be scratchy. Go back and look at Vinny Coletta. I think predominantly used a crow quill pen. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think when we look back at these old books and we look at these things, these pictures really are worth 1,000 words, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
When you think about it that way, it brings you into the mood and it creates an atmosphere. And that's part of the storytelling that a lot of people don't understand with the comic book medium.
Yep.
But people like you, people like Glenn and Russ, you guys have been doing this for decades. And so you get that what that is. And I see so many new artists, new creators out there that they're just starting to discover it. Later on, Sketchbook, good to have you here today.
Well, the ones that want to learn the art, that have the respect for the art form, will go out and they'll learn it. They'll teach themselves. So, that it's all a matter of getting curious and going out there and looking. All of this stuff's available. Some of it's harder to find than others, but a lot of it's still readily available, and you just have to go out and hunt for it. Yeah.
But this is why we do what we do. We love we love this art form, and that's why we're pushing for it.
Yep.
I want to show off a couple of things that we've got going here with. I've got a new video dropping today around 3. I think it's premiering at 3. But we've got I'm a big proponent for centralized marketing, if you will. We think about the exponential growth that the comic book industry had when the direct market was created and comic book shops, specialty shops, were becoming a thing. Recently who was that got honored? And we talked about him for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but listen to the name. Yeah.
He helped start cons and start the direct market.
Yeah,
Oh,
direct
Phil
market.
Suling? Yeah.
Phil Suling, thank you, Suling. Yeah. So we talk about guys like that and things, but right now the market, kind of where we're at with comics and games and all that, people are buying mostly online now. And that, I think a lot of people with their busy schedules, the availability of the marketplace right on their phone with Amazon. I know I buy a lot of stuff on Amazon. I'm like, well, why go to Walmart if I can just buy it on Amazon? Like, why go to Walmart's website and order it when it's going to take 3 days to get to me, or I can just order it on Amazon and it's going to take 3 days to get to me. I might as well just get it all in that one spot, And so a centralized place to buy comics has always been good for us, right? Comic book shops. That's where I fell in love with it. I mean, how many of you have comic book shop stories? These fond memories.
Yeah.
I know one lady does with that man of heroic girth.
Yeah.
Bunny knows that guy. How big is he, man?
Oh, he's just I don't know. He's about 6'2". I don't know, about 315. If this is the guy I'm thinking of.
Yeah, the owner of that shop.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a pretty big guy.
Pretty big.
redneck.
He's
old
rotund.
redneck. Yeah, he ain't going nowhere.
Rotund. He ain't going nowhere.
So, but these comic book shops. So what I wanted to do was create a digital comic book shop. And I think some people think that this is just an Indiegogo clone. It's not. This is a digital comic book shop, is what it is. You can do crowdfunding, but you can also just have a storefront up here. You can use it for that. And that's kind of what people are, it's starting to catch on that's what it is after about 2.5 months now.
Everything takes time, man.
It does. Yeah. Now, we've got the shopping cart that is nearly done. I'm not quite sure how the final stage of implementation is going to go with that. I'm excited and nervous at the same time. But we're about 80% done with the build on this to make it happen. So pretty exciting. Shopping cart will be hopefully up by the weekend. We just had a launch last night on Bancroft, I mentioned earlier, for... Who made it in? Who was it? It was Fall of Man, number 2. So last night they raised $553.
Cool.
Of their $2,500 goal.
Fantastic.
So they're doing pretty good,
awesome.
Yeah. We've got the Fool on the campaign, on the
Fool's
website
up
right
there.
now.
Yeah.
Fool's up there. We've got 16 backers, $301. We need $200 more to get this thing funded. The book is done, right?
Some crazy idiot doing a book about a crazy idiot. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been telling people this is the Punisher if the Punisher was less homicidal and a little more nutty.
Well, the whole question of the character is he really crazy or not? You know, he goes around fighting street crime with practical joke weapons, rubber chicken, yo-yo, paddle ball.
Dude.
I love the
Trash
action
can
in this
lids.
page.
Yeah.
I love the lettering on this, like how it's. You did lettering, right?
I did, yeah. I'm catching all of my old mistakes too. I'm going through and re-lettering it and punching up some of the dialogue.
Randy,
So,
you've got such a good sense for lettering.
Well, like
which
Dave
where it needs
Sims
to go.
always says, you do a couple thousand pages, you get to be
Right.
competent, you know?
Yeah. I don't think I've gotten 2,000 pages in me yet.
It's coming.
I'm getting close though.
It'll be there before you know it.
Yeah. I'm working towards competent, guys. So be patient with me.
Yeah.
Be patient with me, man. This looks
And believe
great.
me, there's a lot of stinking lettering pages out there that I've done in the past. I just, you know, they had I've told the story before. They had a book on comic kayfabe that they were looking at, an issue of Caliber Presents, and I'm like, don't mention the lettering on that story. Don't mention the lettering on that story. That was terrible.
You want to see the
Getting me
guy?
out of it. Yeah.
Pardon?
Yeah.
This one's the time tunnel guy.
Hold on. Yeah. You gonna show us the?
Got an image?
Got an image?
Shoot.
But that's the Fool from Arrow Comics. It's part of the second bundle that's available over on Fund My Comic right now under the Fool. You can order that whole bundle, 6 books, 3 number 1s, 3 number 2s for $40.
I'm not getting anything.
I see Nerd Bacon. I see some grinding.
That's what she said.
Yep.
There he is.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he's a big old boy.
That's heroic, Girth. Yeah.
That's heroic, Girth. Well, how big a boy is he? Well, I'll tell you.
That's a
He's
corn
about
fed
that big.
fool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of corn.
The shopping
Yeah,
cart, my
Goji's a
friend,
big
is. Yeah, he is a big kid. The shopping cart is on its way. I'm telling you, it is. Like I said, 80% done. I can't imagine that we won't have it functioning in the next day or two. I mean, it's. I expected an update last night. I'm sure they're working on something else. Preparing for the. They understand that we can't have, like, an interruption. Yeah, they're very well aware of the operation we're running right now, and I'm telling you, it is such a great relationship with these guys, especially compared to what we've been dealing with. Welcome. Let's welcome
Like I said, everything takes time.
C.S. Johnson has been able to join us this morning.
CS.
What's up, CS?
So we will talk to you about your book a little bit here too in a minute. But yeah, so shopping cart is on its way. It's going to be there. I'll be honest with you. I wish it would be today. That's how excited about it I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it is on its way, and so consider going over there and start building in anticipation of the shopping cart being functioning. very soon. But let's watch the trailer on this one.
Arrow Comics is proud to present to you the fast-paced vigilante justice as only... what is this guy dressed as? This is the Fool. This is the Fool from Arrow Comics, with great artwork by Chris Tyson, colors by Patrick Gamma, written and created by Randy Zimmerman. This guy runs around the city using practical joke weapons to fight crime, and the cops just want to get him off the street before he hurts somebody. You need to read this book. Available in its own individual campaign or part of Arrow Bundle number 2. Arrow Bundle number 1 is also available with the Fool campaign over at funmycomic.com. Check it out.
There
I
you
like
go.
this. I like this, man. I like this. I love this
Oh
splash
yeah. Yep.
that you open up with. That is so Kirby in his storytelling. Since we're talking about, these the idea of sequential storytelling, and how these images are, how they have so much. Well, wow. Did that dude lose an arm?
No, it's tucked underneath him.
Oh,
He's shot. He crawls out in front of
Okay.
a moving police car. Starts the problem. It's like a
Oh,
little
look, there's a
gang
little
war
one
that the story of Fool number 1 is there's a couple of detectives sitting in a greasy spoon comparing notes, and one of them just became Athena here. Athena Atkins just became a detective. She just earned her earned her badge, and the two of them have been assigned to the Fool case, and that is to find this guy and get this guy off the streets before he hurts somebody. And they were chosen on the case because of their involvement with the character. So the first issue is the two of them comparing notes of their exposure to this crazy Fool guy running around the city, beating up criminals and taking a section of their clothing to incorporate them into his action duds. So his costume is always changing. And he uses an old style tie with a couple of holes cut out for a mask.
is this fly down?
Whatever hat, yeah, there, his fly is down. Yes, it is.
Dude, nice.
He's got a little Harley Davidson belt buckled there. He's got he's a patchwork fool. That's what he is. I like to call him the rodeo clown of justice.
Nice.
Yeah,
It's a good catchphrase, man.
it is a good catchphrase.
Stumbled across that on this campaign. So
So
Nice.
he's a character that I've had for years that I've always wanted to show to folks, and now that I've got a chance to and a dynamic colorist like Patrick is,
yeah,
The Fool was the first book that I knew I had to do and get out there in front of people because he's such a colorful character. Plus, I'm tired of all the down books. This has got action. It's got a lot of adventure to it, and it's a lot of fun to read. It's like your old style Spider-Man, where he would go around and poke fun at the criminal while he's tying them up and detaining them.
yeah.
So that's what The Fool is all about.
So you've got this $75 package here that gives a hard copy.
That nobody's taken advantage of yet.
Nobody.
Yeah. I don't offer to do sketches very often.
Yeah. So what all is in this?
Well, I'll sketch your favorite character that I do, Fool, Hero Bot. You tell me who you want, and of the stuff that I do, and I'll draw it. I'm not the kind of guy who goes around at shows with prints of everybody else's character along a back wall. I like doing my own stuff. And then I'll send you a set of books that I've done that I'm really, all of them I'm really proud of, that I'll sign along with the sketch for $75. And that includes Fool 1, that includes Hero Bot 01, Calico 1, and Paragon, which is another superhero story that takes place on the same universe as The Fool.
Yeah, and they kind of tie in a little bit.
A little.
So I read.
And there's a lot more coming, too.
So last year I read a lot of books. And I even got that ISOM #1 that some people think never actually delivered. Where were those people at? Like, that book has been long out.
Long
Like,
out.
there's people who's like, are you ever going to deliver, Ripa?
Oh.
Like,
like
his books are out.
I just got my copy last week at Cash Grab. I was stunned. I didn't even know who it was from.
Yeah. He
And it
finally,
mailed
yeah,
to
he
me. I'm
finally
like, "Where's
delivered.
this from? What is this?"
Like-
And then I open it up. Oh, holy crap! 2 years
Yeah.
late.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
my Cyber Frog was like 4 years late. But
Yeah.
I'll
dude.
tell you what, it was a
I
good
still
book.
haven't gotten my Wreck Planet.
Well, if you did Wreck Planet on the Second Chance, that one hadn't
Yeah.
gone out yet.
Yeah.
So there was something I got from the Second Chance that I'm still waiting
Like,
on.
wow.
But I'm telling you, I'm going to do a full review on that book
Yeah.
soon. But I actually liked it. Like it was pretty good. I mean, I was like, well, I guess you wait 4 years, you finally, when you get it, it was worth the wait. The package, the stuff that came with it was nice too.
Yeah, the first one sure was pretty. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the art is gorgeous in it. I mean, if sequential storytelling, Ethan does have a knack for that as well, and we all know that, whether you like him, love him, hate him, whatever. He has a knack for that. He is very talented at that. He can be polarizing personality for people,
Well, part
yeah.
of the fun of this art form, if you get into it enough and you love it enough, is that you want to pick up work by everybody. Good quality stuff. It doesn't matter what their politics are, if
I
you
don't care
agree
about
with them or not,
Their
or
opinions
how much of a Brit or curmudgeon or idiot they are. You still want to read their stuff.
Yeah, if they're good and competent, I want to see it and I want to pick up on it.
Yeah.
And I want to find out more about. I want to see if there's anything in there that I can grow
pick
from,
up.
that I can pick
Nice.
up on. It's
Nice.
like what are some tricks that you use that can inspire me?
Well, you never
I'm
know
doing
where
one
you're
of
going to
these
find your
pages.
next big influence. That's why you have to go out there and experience. That's one of the things they tell artists and writers that you have to do is go out and experience life.
That's
How are
my
you going to
problem
know
with-
how to draw trees if you don't look at them?
Right. That's my problem with AI. It's not inspired. It's not inspired art. And you can tell, like, we kind of joked. We talked about that episode of The Mandalorian. We joked last night. It's like, was this episode written by AI? Oh my gosh. Because it was soulless.
I just ran across a couple of them writing programs.
Yeah.
Jeepers,
Oh, yeah,
I think it
Chat.
was called something else.
Chat GPT.
ChatGPT.
I mean that'll do full comic scripts.
Yeah, well, the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Dude, have you seen that AI commercial they did for like a fake pizza parlor? Everything
No.
is just like okay, AI is not ready to do like realistic film.
No.
I've seen some incredibly deep fakes of conversations between Biden and Obama that have just been
Yeah.
hilarious.
But
Yeah.
that deep fake, it's attached to an actor that's
Yeah.
imitating Obama. Like, dude, there's this channel that's doing like deep fakes of like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon like watching Star Wars.
Yeah.
But this guy is really funny because he's like a voice imitator. So there's just like in a couch, and Qui-Gon is just like a horrible gambler and whatever. Is like, I'll take that bitch. Dude, it's really funny, and it's all done in deep fake. But it's an actor behind the deep fake still. So it's not the same thing.
It's
Right.
but it gets very lazy too with these.
Yeah.
With these. Yeah, you can have a comic book script written by AI, but it's not going to be good because it's a narrative.
You remember how everybody a few months back, some of the so-called professionals in the so-called mainstream wanted to standardize what a comic script was. They wanted to make a specific format that everybody had to follow. That's why. That's because they're using those AI programs.
They were using AI programs.
Yep.
And you can tell now AI can get pretty good. You can pop in. I just discovered ChatGPT a couple of days ago, actually Tuesday night, because we had Clayton Barton on, who does howtodrawcomics.net.
Okay.
And a great artist. I've learned a lot from him when it comes to sequential storytelling as well. But he was like, you need to have it right post for you, like an ad copy and things like use it to you'll have to edit it once it spits something out, but let it do what you would hire someone else to do for the most part, to speed up your time so that you're not spending hours working on something that you could spend minutes on. And I'm like, well, that's smart, I guess. So AI could be a very useful tool, but it's never going to replace the inspired storytelling that you get from a human being. It just can't do it.
I don't
can't
know.
do
Dude. I grew up in the 80s, man. And to me, this is all like submission by increments. We give a little ground, and then a little more ground, and then a little more ground, and then we're just living up, hooked up to a tube, going drooling. Like, nah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the cost of having technology tame the natural world, is that you
Yeah,
get a lot of convenience. So
Yeah.
I will say, did
welcome.
you hear that a lot of the AI, like the robots, are starting to kill themselves? I thought that was funny.
I did not know that.
Are
So
they?
they're committing suicide now? They're like,
I
I'm done.
hate this
I'm out.
life. I hate
Exactly.
this digital life.
Like you guys are degenerates. I'm out.
Man. They're doing
No
what?
more. No
There's
more.
they're starting to do. I've heard of this conversation before from several different angles, and I know that they're looking for prompters for a lot of the AI stuff. So I think part of it is, I mean, like you can make six figures doing some of the work that they're looking for, depending on what it is. Well, I think
AI
the AI is
expert.
only going to be as inspired as the people prompting it, and the people prompting it probably actually aren't that inspired if they're thinking that whatever I put into this is going to come out with something that's supposed to be ideally better. So it's like all those Disney H1R trying to train their replacements. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. AI
Speaking
can't
of
take
AI.
on this industry.
Speaking of AI,
Yeah.
tropical magic.
Tropical magic.
Tropical magic.
A
Completely
couple-
done by
Yeah,
Pedro, our favorite artificial intelligence.
yeah. How you doing? No, actually, this is like magic users that use technology to fight an AI overlord. So
Yeah.
You
kinda
say
tough.
I knew that was that's why we segued right into that. It's all planned, guys.
Yeah, it's all planned.
We've all got it together.
Hell yeah.
What would you like us to call you, CS Johnson, or would you like us just to call you CS Johnson?
I have a small preference for CJ online. So
Okay.
a lot of people call me CS, and I'm like, it doesn't sound like a real name though.
Doesn't. So CJ, we'll call you CJ then.
Yeah, CJ sounds cool.
CJ, yeah.
sounds like
It does
like
sound-
an
it does
insurance
sound cool.
company.
No,
Yeah.
it's okay. I have a lot of people that when they approach me just on Twitter, because I don't use my face very often, you know, I walk around Atlanta. I don't want to be,
Sorry.
don't want to be
Right.
recognized.
But that's how you keep young. Like you don't use your face like that long. Just keep it on the wraps.
No,
Yeah,
I
like-
understand. I understand
Yeah.
the desire to stay off of camera. And I always tell people though, it's like, look, when you get on camera, you create I don't know what you're talking about, but you get when you're on camera, you create a trust with your fan base because they can see that you're a real person. They can associate, a face and a personality to the work that they're doing. And though, I can definitely separate the artist from the work. It is nice when I like the artist and the work. That's really good for me. Now it's bad when I don't like the artist or the work.
Yeah.
Well,
There are
hopefully
some
you'll
people-
get at least one out of the two with me.
So, and we'll get into a little bit more about what it is that you do here in a moment.
No,
but you are a writer, right?
Yes. I will say on some level, I think it's different for men and women too, because I don't want to get all the simps. I'm probably a rare woman in that regard. I married my greatest simp, so I'm
There
good.
you go. I would totally get simps. Like if I were doing this again, like if I could go back to the beginning, I would hide my face and take a picture of my wife and put it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would
I don't know how your wife would feel about that, but
I don't know, but she's beautiful, so people would back my book just because of that. Because there are people out there that would. They want to, they love beautiful women, and I don't blame them. Beautiful
Yeah,
women.
dude.
I don't think it's
They're
wrong.
quite nice.
to, have an appreciation for beauty. I think it's wrong to give money to them for it.
Right.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
saw
that's
this.
a credit. That's a credit to you, though. Like, if
really is, yeah.
if I was in a position, I'll be streaming from the pool on a bikini. Buy my brand.
There's a reason that I'm
We
going
all
to
know Pedro.
Con and not Comic Con anymore. So.
Yeah. Well, we all know that Pedro would Pedro would be in the mini skirt on the camera. He would have the foot cam.
Yeah.
Like in a hot second. He is.
Yeah, dude. Ooh.
He
Having
would-
like drinks
he
with
would-
little umbrellas and things.
Yeah, he would sell every inch of his body for a.
Oh yeah. Ooh. And I can dance, guys. That's another thing you don't know about.
Well, see,
I'm
that
a
sounds like
dancer.
a good recipe for TikTok right there. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So, you've seen those, how it started, how it's going, kind of things.
Yeah.
Someone showed a picture of this gal. She goes, "How to make money trading crypto? How it's going? I just started an OnlyFans."
Yeah, exactly. Ooh.
I will say I'm only tempted to start an OnlyFans because I would dress up in like a nun costume and start reading from the Bible.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Like try to exercise my followers. You know?
Yes.
That's different
Like-
enough to really make you rich. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Like that's yeah.
You
Like,
would, you would have an audience for that.
they're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
did you see this girl? She's
Yeah.
dressed as a nun and reading the Bible. That is so hot.
Exactly.
You read,
Yep.
you read Corinthians.
you know, in the
man.
right
There's
context,
probably
I
a
would
good
live
living in
for
there.
that world.
You
Okay.
know I love my Corinthians.
Put a paddle on the wall
Exactly.
behind you.
I'm sorry. What was that?
Yes. I don't know if they wanted money or they wanted something more sexual.
Put a paddle on the wall behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. Like, oh Lord,
Let's do a
please.
green screen of a dungeon. You'll be set.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
The nun dressed with you got to get one of those big thick Bible books that's
I think
right
we're
barely
hitting,
in camera angle and you're just
I need
reading from
a
it.
big crucifix
And a-
in the background.
I think we're hitting something.
Calm down, guys.
Somebody's out there making notes. I'm telling you.
Somebody's
Glenn.
taking notes. They're gonna make a
Glen's
bunch of
taking
money
notes.
off of that idea.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
you
well,
do
I'm
not
gonna
use AI.
copyright it. My idea. You can't cut.
Yeah.
Got to find that
Gotta
nun
cut me
outfit.
in.
Yeah.
My lawyer will be in contact with you.
So CJ, you do not use AI to write your script, to write your
No,
books,
no.
do you?
Mhm.
Now, you have you're mostly novels and
Yes.
YA novels.
Yes. Well, it's YA to NA. I feel like I'm talking to children when I talk to people my age. So when I say I'm writing for adults, I really mean I'm writing to people that I think are younger than me, but they're actually older than me.
Right, right.
That happens.
But you do have some stuff that has sequential art in it, correct?
Some of it, yeah. This is so like my first comic Kickstarter started this month, and I have some graphic novels that I used, and I used to teach literature, so there is a very distinctive difference for me.
And so when here in a little bit, we're going to talk a little bit more. So be prepared for questions about what it is, like how you adapt your writing for novels versus sequential, because there's a difference. There's a huge difference between the two.
Yeah. Adaptation is a tricky part of writing. So
That's what I was laughing at.
Glenn, stop objectifying this beautiful, gorgeous girl.
hey, don't misgender anyone here, okay?
Yeah, don't.
Yeah,
How
you're
dare
making
we?
assumptions.
How dare we?
you?
Yeah. So speaking of making assumptions and misgendering, let's check out Tropical Magics.
Yes, sir.
So you said that you were saying something earlier
Yeah.
that you didn't want to take over the stream, and I said, we'll talk about it in a little bit.
Okay.
Talk about it now. What is going
Alright,
on?
so right now, like, this is a second chance campaign, guys, and I'm already getting hit by people like, dude, you gotta look out for your RP, man. The campaign is not moving. But I've just noticed a pattern that didn't happen when I launched Tropical Magic the first time, and it's that the venues to shield your stuff are not there anymore.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, many of the shows are gone. There's few people, and the lines to wait to get on the shows that exist are really long.
Really long.
So the corrective I'm applying might not work for this campaign, guys. But dude, this is an awesome book. The people who got it
Yes.
loved it. I'm really proud of what I accomplished here.
Mhm.
But what I'm doing, and why I advise to everybody is, and I know this is something that Malin says, and this is something that Ethan says, and all those guys build up your brand. I'm gonna build up more brand, but I'm not gonna be talking about politics or talking about indie news or whatever. Like there's people who are doing that already really well.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna concentrate on what I do well, and that is animation. So I'm gonna announce, I'm announcing that I'm starting an animation school on YouTube, starting with the first 5 videos are going up at the end of the month, which will cover like the 5 first principles of animation. They're 12. They're gonna be then on the once I cover the 12, I'm gonna start doing live streaming so people can follow me through the procedures, and then how do you do complicated animations? Because I really want to get what we're doing with comic books, do it with animation, but not in a beggy kind of way. Because a lot of people have been trying to, hey, let's kickstart this animation. Animation can't be sold like books. So I'd rather use animation as a tool to sell books. And how we accomplish that is training people. And I'm in touch with different IP owners, and I can announce that I'm working with John Hervey, and we're getting some of his IP
I love John Hervey.
into animated format. I'm speaking with Luke to do the same. So, dude, this is gonna be awesome, and that's the thing I want to advise to everybody who has a campaign, because things are different. We're not in 2020 anymore. The huge like 50 tag campaigns that might not come back again, but that doesn't mean we can't make a living. And there's a huge economy surrounding the productions of these books, and only the intelligent creator will take advantage of these opportunities. And we just gotta come up with make this industry sustainable. And that's why I'm not faced, because dude, I've been hit like so many times. Like, dude, what are you gonna do with your campaign? It's gonna fail. Like, even if it does,
Look,
it won't be the first.
You
know what I
got
mean?
34 days left to go.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I'm good.
You're only looking for $500. It's not going to fail. People freak out
Yeah.
too much. Like they freak out all the time.
Yeah.
Look, this is a grind. Okay, it is not a sprint. This is a marathon.
Yeah.
You've got time to make the money that you need to make on this thing, right? It's about building an audience and bringing people back.
Exactly.
Especially on a second chance campaign, you brought in most of your audience for the first one. So bringing in a second one is going to be harder, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to have to adapt for that. But right now, what this is for is to find that new audience.
Yes.
And so it's going to be a slower go, but this is an opportunity for you to find, for more people to discover Pedro, right?
Exactly.
That's what this is all about. And that's what people don't understand with a second chance campaign. You're not, when you go back to your same audience with a second chance campaign, it's like you're mentally deficient if you think that's going to be successful doing that.
No, it's not gonna, because they already have the book.
It's not. Yeah, you need to find brand new people, and right now, the shill shows are they're so thin. We still have Red Valkyrie. We still have
Reenie's starting to do it.
Reenie's starting to do one. I think Charlie's London is starting to do one again.
Yeah. Bancroft.
Bancroft has his, and the Bancroft bump is a real thing. That's real. I don't even shill on Tuesday nights. We don't shill. If someone came on, we would, but I mean, that's not what we do.
Yeah.
Primarily, we do that here towards the end of the show. But my channel's been getting super nerfed from YouTube, so my YouTube is struggling. My Rumble is not, though. Like, we're doing really well on Rumble. So, but that audience is a lot different than my, than my YouTube audience. And so that's a different group of people that I'm reaching through that. And that's really what it comes down to find new people. And that's what I've been doing with my hybrid stuff is I've got to find new people. And we forget, like when we do this marketing, we just keep going to the same outlets every time.
Yes.
And so when you say, hey, I'm starting an animation thing, now you're going to find a new audience. That's people that are interested in animation. They're going to find your work through the animation.
Yeah.
Right. Which is why you and I...
Yeah. And that's the other thing I want to tell about. I'm okay. This is gonna sound like Pedro thinks he wants to be an apostle or whatever, but I'm really interested in this community to thrive. So I'm gonna incorporate, with people's permissions, their IPs into the animation exercises. And why do I mean like this? By this, like you as an animator need to follow a model sheet. So today we're doing trash man as a run cycle in 3/4 coming to camera.
Yeah.
That's the exercise for the month. I mean, I'll speak with Luke and I'll let them know, and then we'll have whoever's following the classes. He'll have like an animated run cycle of trash man. People are gonna say, "Who's trash man?" Hey, go to the channel studios. So doing that stuff,
genius idea.
Help. Yeah, this is gonna help the community as itself. But I'm gonna build a channel. So what I ask of you is to go to Pedro Ang at YouTube and subscribe to my channel. The videos are gonna come at the end of the
Throw
month.
your YouTube link in the private so I can share it in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if my mods are working very well today. Tertiary marketing and direct digital sales is imperative in a saturated market. Hit your genre hard. Absolutely. You got to find new ways to get out there. And it's, it's not just, I mean, that's what we tried with the RPG. And I have failed at marketing that thing. I thought that we had a connection with that audience that apparently do not have a connection with. So when my campaign ends today, it's done until I can figure out a way to get that into a new market to find people. That's really what it comes down to. You've got to find a way to reach people, but it's not just on YouTube. You can't just always do it on YouTube. You can't just always, you've got to get out and actually meet people.
Yeah,
exactly. The face-to-face thing helps so much. It really does. But so Tropical Magic, it is, you've got 5 backers, 31%. You need 500, but you've got 34 days left to go.
Yeah, I mean, we're good. I'm good. Like I'm not worried that it's not gonna fund, but I'm noticing like the slump, and it's like, okay, I'm marketing to the people that I already know. It's not working.
The other thing that's really good about Fund My Comic right now is that we have new people coming in, and so they're all bringing their audience to this platform. So you're bringing audience to that platform. I'm bringing audience to that platform. Yeah. Last night we had Paul bring an audience to that platform. This Friday, Edwin Acevedo, who's in the chat, welcome Edwin, by the way, he is bringing people to that platform this Friday. So he's got a thanks, Bunny, for sharing that. Bunny's over here being producer for me, and I appreciate it. But he's bringing people to that platform. Now they're bringing the same audience. Okay, they're bringing the Bancroft audience.
Yeah.
But that's going to spread, right? So those people are going to get well familiar with our platform. They're going to realize that it's not an IGG clone, that it's its own thing. And so the word's going to start to get out about that. And each one of these creators is going to go on different YouTube shows. Like my show, what we do here, my audience, this is a different audience than, there is some overlap with Bancroft. Most of us know them, but this is our own kind of thing, right? And so if you're going to go shill, you want to find people that have an audience that is not the same as yours.
Exactly.
Like you need to hit up those Iron Age guys. The Drink with Crazy. You got to check those guys out because that's a whole other audience. You've got to get out and you've got to diversify your connections with people. You really do. But Fund My Comic is now kind of operating as a digital store, like a hub for people to sell their product, either crowdfund it or sell it outright. And so it's kind of a neat thing. Yes, you can extend your campaign, and so when it comes time, let us know, and we can extend that. You just have to ask one of the mods.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, we can do anything we want. We're like gods with little G's here at Fund My Comic.
I've started to set I have another graphic novel coming out later this year, and I'm starting to set it up, and it looks really nice. I'm just really distracted.
Oh, I understand that. Life can get pretty crazy. So so that we've got that out there. I just popped the link. I believe I popped the link in the.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah, I got your Fund My Comic there, guys. Check that out.
Yeah,
and so.
And guys, it's 72 pages. It's an awesome adventure, and you'll enjoy it. If you like movies from the 80s, like action adventure movies from the 80s, it's exactly that. It's not like too deep.
I really did enjoy it.
fun.
I really did. So this campaign ends in 52 minutes. We are not extending this campaign. So it will not be available after this. Books are going to be going to print. We're finishing up the last of the files that we need for the RPG so that those can go to print. And so it is on the docket to be printed after Soltac gets shipped. And so that's what's going on with this. I will share the link for this. I just added some digital rewards so that if shipping is a big deal for you, you won't have to worry about shipping. So you can get either one of the, for $10 each, you can get either one of the 144-page graphic novels. And for $15, you can get the RPG, the core manual, for $15. So digital is there because we know that some people are requesting that, and we've already had some digital sales since we started. But so those are going well, and you can get some merch that's available there. So this is ending today. So if you guys were waiting, oh, it's always going to be available. No, it's not going to be available anymore. And when it comes to the RPG game, I don't know what I'm doing. So I have to go learn some things. Okay, so the RPGs will be available occasionally. Okay, Nick will probably have the majority of the books that he will sell. I will probably put them up on my website, but and we may add them as like second chance things or add-ons down the road. But I got to learn how to find that market. So a lot of this is going to go, it's getting pushed. We're pushing pause because I'm working on some other projects, and we're going to keep going with hybrids, but we've got 3 more floppies planned. We're going to get those done later this year, and then we'll do a complete omnibus. But this is your last chance to grab a hold of this game if you're looking for it. It is going to be harder to find because we're, again, until I can figure out what the hell I'm doing, I've got to reevaluate. You know, I mean, I think, but that's business. That's what we do, right? Randy, how many times have you had to do that in your life?
And the laughter says it all.
I could write a book. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you're writing a book.
A lot of times it's one. Well, yeah. But one step forward, 3 steps back. You know?
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, we got a lot of really great things on here. Yeah, Sin Killer is ending in 3 days, and
great Sin Killer.
He needs some help. You know what? Let's watch a couple of trailers, okay?
Yeah, let's do it.
Give my voice just a quick rest. CJ, can you pop some links in the private for me? That way we can talk to you about what you've got going on. Okay. And then Bunny has something coming up too. We'll talk about.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, here let's show off some stuff. Never underestimate the power of animation. Check this out.
Hey, you! Are you tired of lame-ass stories for kids?
Lower the level on that one.
Dude, why did you stop it?
Hey, you! Are you tired of lame-ass stories for kids? Well, don't be a moron. Walk through that door. What's wrong? Don't be a sissy baby. Just have a look. The Buckler Canadian Tussle. Exclusively on Fun My Comic.
I was picking my nose and the video went away.
Yeah,
No, I'm joking. I wasn't picking my nose. But
I do.
I do silly things while while the trailers are playing.
That trailer has like Canadian pedigree all over it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean,
It's yeah. So when a video, like sometimes when the internet's acting weird, and a video stops for some reason, like it registers a screen click when I didn't do it. I'm like, what did you stop it for? You silly thing. So yeah, animation is important.
What I tell people when I don't have my face on, I'm like, I'm just sitting here picking my nose and playing Pokemon Go. So
yeah, that animation, that it goes so far to sell a book. So here's what I want to bring up Hojo for a second. He has been working on, this is his first book, and he gets around to everybody's audience, and he's working really hard to get eyes on this. And for a first-time book to have 200 backers, he is an example of what hard work will do. But his hard work started with something pretty impressive, though. Let's check this out, and I'm going to leave us in here so that we can chat about this as well. A very typical trailer start.
In a world where creatures of myth and legend exist. Covert task force is charged with keeping humanity safe from supernatural threats.
I take it that you're the one that animated the bats as well?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, still pictures are great, right? But when you're trying to advertise your book and your story, there's nothing like these moving pictures, right?
I also did this mock effect, that's particles.
Right.
I altered that video, so
yeah. So this is the start. This is one of the points I want to make, and I'm going to do a series of videos about how to sell your comic book, really, which is kind of ironic because I haven't been doing a good job of selling my own books lately. But I have sold books successfully in the past.
I promise.
So we are starting with, this is the thing that people are going to see. I mean, when they look at the page, you want still images or GIFs, things that are going to automatically load the still images. You want your best images on your campaign page. You want people to see new art all the time. So your social media posts, they need to have beautiful art on them. One thing that we need to understand is likes and video views don't necessarily equate to sales. Maybe 10% of that reach will turn into sales. But 10% of 500 is only 50, right? So the 10% of the people that Hojo has reached, he's gotten like over 200 backers, 201 backers. So it's likely he's reached 2,000 or more people with his content. And this trailer by itself has sold the book, okay? Because it does a good job of that. So it starts out in the very cliche typical way, and people are like, oh, well, that...
There's another one of those.
Right when people are about to check out.
And when young Nancy Moon stumbles into the eternal battle between good and evil, she finds... Oh my...
And here's where the Pedro magic came in, right? This is where the money for the trailer was spent, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I already spent it all, so give me more work.
It's this... Now there's a character that's alive.
Yeah.
Hojo says he's had over 3,500 IGG campaign views the last time he checked. And okay, so that's not counting your
FMC views.
FMC views, which I can get that for you if you like. So a lot of people, and it's equated to 200 backers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's less than 10% of the views have turned into sales. But that's about average. When people were freaking out about how many people came on and got Eric July's book, I had no doubt that he would have that many backers, 4,000 or more backers, because he has 425,000 subscribers on YouTube. 10% of his audience came out and bought his book. That's exactly what you guys can expect. So you have to, when we're trying to market our book, trying to tell our stories, we have to think about 10% of the people that we reach are actually going to buy what we're selling. But there also has to be a call to action. That's one thing that I'm noticing that a lot of us are missing. We're just presenting it, but we're not saying, and buy it, please. Which is why I'm like, look, this campaign that I'm doing ends today. Buy it or lose it, or don't get it. It's kind of the mindset that it is right now. I don't have the energy to focus on campaigning that while I'm also campaigning for everybody else. So it can't happen. It's not, I can't do that. So the call to action is back it before noon or don't get it, right? Because you have to give someone that you have to ask them for the sale. I remember when we were working in retail, that was what my managers always told me. You've got to ask for the sale. Like, you've got to close it. You've got to ask for it. Because if you don't, if you leave it open-ended, they're probably not going to back it. Or they're probably not going to buy it, is what they said. So, but this is where it deviates. And at this point in the trailer is when everyone that was about to check out, now they're interested. Because it's different. And here's where Hojo actually starts to sell the book.
My God, will you shut up? What's happening? Agent Beckett here. Aren't you tired of stuff like that? Want something different? Roll the tape. Whoops. Sorry about that. That's a song I'm writing for my ex. Okay, here we go.
So here's the other thing that's going on with this trailer that works. It stops taking itself so serious. It's fun now. It's a comic book, guys. Who cares about politics? Who cares about all that junk? It's escapism. Let's have some fun. That's what I love. Okay, so Randy is an older gentleman.
Thanks.
Right?
Yeah.
But Randy has the most childlike whimsy and imagination of anyone that I've met in this industry. He just has this fun in his head. And whenever he's doing these mundane things, I'll get these messages through Facebook. I had an idea for this. And I love it when he's doing that mundane, busy work.
The blue.
Because he just has these amazing ideas. I'm like, that is so great. I'm like, man, now I want to work on that. Now I want to drop everything.
So I have a record of it. I just crawl up the PM board and go, yeah, I remember that idea. I got to do that.
And I mean, yeah. And then I get these ideas, and I'm like, oh, that would be fun too, right? It's that, oh, wouldn't that be cool? And that's what comic books should be. And so at this point, he stops taking himself so serious, stops taking the trailer that serious, and now he's having fun. But what is still serious is the fact that he's selling a book and it's working.
Yeah, that's more like it. Alrighty. Welcome to the world of the mythicals. We have it all. Monsters, magic.
Did you animate all of the
He's a strong silent type.
No, he just got me for the
this guy.
Okay.
Gross, dude. Get some kind of cream or something.
He
Lots of 90s
prize,
style action.
The CG
Pew,
prize
pew, pew.
Did you do the pew pew pews
And
on
that
there?
strong female lead alluded to
tried.
earlier.
The EPs with accents don't fly.
Not to mention a dashing field commander with a great sense of fashion. Look at those glasses.
South River Studios presents The Mythicals, Issue 1. Buy it if you dare.
There's the call to action. Buy it if you dare.
Will you can it already? How'd you get free? Now beat it before I lose my cool.
So what are you waiting for? Back it today. Like right now.
Back the mythicals today.
See, that was objectifying in the end.
It was. But see, this is what I'm talking about, guys. That's selling. That's going different with the trailers. And it's putting some thought into that, because that's probably going to be the first opportunity you have to make the sale. And if your audience is at a certain size, like however many people you reach, 10, sometimes less than 10% are going to be your customers. And that does a great job with that. And here's another trailer that this one launches Friday. This is an exclusive on Fun My Comic.
Raid of the White Leopard is the story of a band of Vikings.
It is a little hard to hear and understand.
And wash up on a mysterious island.
But the animation of the lightning mixed with the art, good choice.
The water drops. Yeah.
Water drops. The art looks fantastic.
I mean, I don't want to bash anyone's work, but the voice modulation is not doing it for me.
Yeah, it's a little much. It is a little much. Yeah,
I
it's
kind of
really hard to hear.
Because it's coming from TikTok, or I don't know.
Could be, and it's, but it also ends fairly abruptly.
Yeah.
So it kind of, the length is great, because it's not very long. You don't want these super long videos. I would show somebody else's video, but if you run it on 2 times the speed, it is the right length. That's how long it is.
Guys, the right length for a trailer is 1:30 max.
Max.
And the thing with trailers is that pick up a good song, a song that will keep people engaged. I mean, regarding the tone of your story, that really matters. So match a song that find a song that matches the tone of your story, but it's a song that is engaging. That song is going to help you with your editing.
Yep.
And that's primal. And because, dude, we're talking about short attention spans. People, if you lose people in second 20, he's not finishing your trailer. So it's very important. Sound, it's just paramount.
We literally, whenever Pedro and I work together, we start with the music.
Mm-hmm.
We start with the music for a scene, because that's where we want to go.
Yeah.
Hojo, first impression, good or bad, lasts a lifetime, even if that changes after you get to know them. Exactly. It really does. Because that first impression is still always there. That's why it's important, that you're putting your best foot forward. And a lot of people say, well, my work speaks for itself. It can, it really can, but you have to speak for it too. And that's what Hojo did with that trailer. I mean, it's a very good trailer. With the sales.
Yes. Don't look at mine. Mine's terrible by comps.
Oh no.
No.
We're gonna look at it.
We're gonna look at it.
No, but the thing is, so CJ, you're familiar with the show. You know what we do.
Yeah.
We talk to you. We interview you. We talk about what you're doing and about your product and your project, your story. But as we look at the campaign, sometimes we throw out advice to help you sell your book better.
Yeah.
I welcome that. I also welcome anybody who wants
Some
to
people do not. Some people do not. I got a few. I had a few people upset that I spoke to another creator with, as a peer, about how to sell their product, and I'm going to say the same thing to you that I told to them. There's not enough art here.
Okay. Yeah. It's down. It's further down. So I have
this all the way up at the top.
I've been told to move it already, and I haven't.
Yeah. This first image, make that the first image. Okay. Nobody cares about all this reading. They don't want homework.
No.
They don't want homework. They really don't. What they want is they want to see this. Start with that image and then put these sequential pages. Like give like a quick blurb, right? That it's how many pages it is, and what the story is. But this looks fantastic.
Yeah, this is awesome.
This is what people want to see. Gorgeous art, competent lettering, really cool sequentials, like the visuals tell the story. That's what people want. Then put some more of the text and leave your reward tiers at the bottom where you got them. But man, show this off.
Yeah.
Because this is great.
Yeah.
See, like what the heck?
are going to get people excited enough to read all the things you wrote. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
put them first.
I will say I have a really good artist. So
You do.
You do.
See, the influences can go down at the bottom. This can, this, all this stuff can go in between some of those pages. Yeah, this is
Okay.
we don't. Yeah, all this stuff. Like right now, I don't have to read any of that to know that I'm backing this book.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, this sold the book to me right here.
Yeah,
and that's the case with most art, with most people. That's what they do. This sells the book. The art always sells the book for people because it is a visual medium, and we forget that. If you ask AI how to sell your comic book, they're going to tell you to share the art because the pictures are just as important as the words that the story you're telling. It is such a symbiotic relationship between the artist and the writer. And that's why so many writers get frustrated with their first comic because they're having trouble finding that right relationship with the artist that understands how to tell the story and understands that, that the part and the role that they play in it, that cares about the story as much as they do. And because there's some give and take. Now, Bunny, you've got a book coming out on July 1st, right? I can't hear you. Okay. So your book coming out on July 1st. So you've been working on those pages. How long have you been working on getting this book produced that you've been working on, Bunny?
3 years.
Wow.
3 years. 3 years. People think this is a fast project. It's fast. It's just not. So,
I will say that was one of the surprises coming into it. So I think I will say, like, I am a novelist by trade, so I tend to focus more on the words. And I think that's part of the, when you come into something new like this, it's good to hear that feedback because it's like, I'm a word person. So
right. So as a word person, and we have a lot of word people here. Yeah. I mean, there's three of us that are primarily visuals today. We don't really have more of just the writer scene. But Bunny, like, his whole channel is dedicated pretty much to writing comic books, or writing, being a better writer, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And so what was the, like, what did you, like, in the process of this, because this looks great.
Thank you.
How much back and forth did you have to have with your artist to translate, moving from a novelist, writing prose to writing a comic book script?
It wasn't, it was really good. I have really good artists. And I think it helps that they have a background in comics and manga. So then that's kind of like, I started as a kid liking manga, like, pretty early. So I've read a few comic books here and there as a kid, and I've read more as an adult, I think. So, but I really like the more animated look of manga still. So
The character design, the action is all really well. So, my question, I think, let me try to reword it.
Okay, yes.
So you typically write in prose.
Yes.
Right. And someone that's versed in doing comics, we understand that, like, I'm doing one that was a movie script. Mm-hmm. And so when you write a scene, you can produce a lot in the scene in a short amount of time. So there's a lot of text, it's all about the dialogue. You set up the visual of it, and then you talk about the dialogue. Mm-hmm. But in comics, like what we talked about earlier with Wally Wood, is those talking heads can get kind of boring. So you've got to use different kind of panels and stuff to do that. You don't want walls of exposition. So you want to have that visual medium to it to bring the reader into the conversation, so that they feel like they're there, like watching a movie or a TV show where two people are actually having a conversation. Translating, like, your work, like being, going from all the words to show, don't tell. How was that for you? Like, what did you have to do to adapt?
I had to bribe myself with a lot of chocolate, so there's that.
Nice.
I will say, like, my artists are, like I said, they're really great. I recommend them to anybody. They work with a lot of different people, and I wanted, in like this particular scene, I wanted a couple different panels to show some of the different skills that my hero has, like working with the, just fighting people and using weapons, and then also like the kicks and the head grab and everything. So, but it was like, yeah, they fight. Here's some stuff that he's good at. This is kind of like the cold open, so it makes it kind of easy to introduce some. These are the good guys. These are the bad guys.
So how many? Was there anything that you wanted to have in this scene that you had to relent with, just because of the aspect of telling it per page, per panel?
I think I did a pretty good job of that. There's only a couple panels where it's like, I need this badly. So this is actually one of them right here. So Discord's power is that he can hear the human soul, the music of the human soul. And that's what he's kind of like reaching out into. And he's throwing all of the kind of like the trauma that she's had in her life, and he's throwing it on her and subduing her that way.
Okay. So.
Damn, that's painful.
That's a heck of a concept, man.
Yeah.
Well, so call it. I said it's a musical empath. So.
Yeah.
So this writer that I'm working with, we're putting QR codes on the page that lead to YouTube videos of songs, so that you can listen to the music of the scene that he's written.
That's nice.
Yeah, and so really with him, what we've had to do is he wrote like 2 pages. He thought it was 2 pages, but it wound up being 5. Because in order to show that properly and get the mood, we have to elongate that. So it sounds like you were pretty well, like you kind of understood.
I did my research, so.
CJ, that power struck me. I need to talk to my mom.
What?
This is so good.
That power set?
Yeah.
Struck me hard. I need to talk to my mom now. I don't know. It's just like,
well,
can you explain the power again? Like through song, he'll like bring out your trauma and make you face it.
Yeah. So Steven is his real name. Steven's power is that he's able to hear the music of your soul. So like everybody's so like in the Bible, when God said, let there be light, the Hebrew translation of it is more accurate if you say sings. So I always like that kind of concept.
God sings, let there be light. Yes.
Yes. So everybody's kind of like since we are made in the image of God, it's nice to think that your soul is like this song that encompasses your emotions, your thoughts, your will, your choices, your various experiences in life, and that you're kind of collecting that as you go through life. And it's kind of terrifying to think that somebody could pull up all the areas of your life that have just been absolute trauma and present it back to you.
Yeah.
So
I don't even need the music for that. I'm sitting here.
That terrified me for some reason. It's just like, whoa, okay.
Yeah. But I mean, later on,
Cybok from Star Trek V.
I really liked this idea because music for me means a lot, even if I'm not very well versed in like contemporary music or anything. I grew up in church, if you can't tell. I love hymns. I love like the gospels and the more kind of like instrumental sort of stuff. So one of the criticisms I got of it on Twitter was like, or I guess not a criticism, but somebody commented, you could probably easily fit him in with the DC universe. And I'm like, yeah, but Batman wouldn't want him running around, Gotham City, because the whole, the what is it, the Deus Ex? No, it's like a song, the Song of the Dead would just be.
Yeah.
Well, the Deus Ex Machina is like a troop, but I'm trying to think of the song name. But it's like it's the organ one. The da 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 da. That would just be playing around Batman.
That
figure it out pretty quick who Batman was.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he'd be able to hear his.
Fugue.
But like,
Fugue.
like one of the things I do with my kids now is we have lullabies and I sing to them. I don't sing for just anybody. So, but I'm trying to convey how like a song makes me feel to my children and kind of almost imprint it into their history. So when I'm dead and they hear this and they're like 7 years old and they hear the song that their mom used to sing to them at night, they will be able to have some kind of echo of like my life on theirs. And I want to kind of grab that into a concept and what you could do with it in terms of a superpower. So
yeah, Grey Wolf, that is a great quote from C.S. Lewis. We don't have a soul, we are a soul, and we have a physical body. And I mean, I love anything that can take inspiration from faith. Now, is this a Christian story or is this just a story?
he happens to be Christian, but there's still plenty of violence. So, and he goes after human traffickers. So there is a very good versus evil element to it, which is why I try to highlight that.
I love seeing people of faith represented well in this medium, because normally, they're not represented well.
If you hang around me at all within the first 30 minutes, you'll find out 3 things. Okay. The first one is I'm married and very happily.
Nice.
The second one is I go to church a lot. And usually the third one is like, I when I get nervous to play with my hair and I start laughing. So,
well, you're playing with your hair and you're laughing. Are you nervous?
Yeah.
You need to be nervous with us.
Well, I know.
This looks really good. I mean, this looks fantastic. But yeah, I would make those changes on the campaign and show that stuff, because that right there that's going to get you more. That will get you more attention, get you more backers.
That's good.
Right. I mean,
I
think
really
right
would
away.
like more backers.
Yeah, I think that would be a very easy way to an easy improvement to the campaign. And the thing is, and these guys will tell you, we see it all the time, especially with Kickstarter. One of the things that we noticed is that people around the Kickstarter universe, this sphere, were telling people to put your creative team up at the top. And the reason why, and a lot of people didn't understand the politics behind that. There was a political motivation when people were saying that. It wasn't because Kickstarter cares who your creative team is.
Mm-hmm.
It's because Kickstarter cares how diverse your creative team is.
Equity.
Oh, okay.
It was a politically motivated suggestion that people started saying, well, that will get you projects we love. And I'm going to be very honest with you, backers don't care about projects we love.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my daughter backs on Kickstarter all the time. And she was like, I've never actually looked at, a projects we love thing. I don't really care about that. It's a matter of like the stuff that I'm interested in, And so, unfortunately, it's what happened in the mainstream where people were selling to Diamond and selling to the retail shops instead of selling to the customers. That's why they fail.
Problem. And yeah, like I think a lot of people see diversity and they want to take it either as good or bad right away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, really, and it really doesn't. Here's my thing. I don't, and this is going to sound so mean, and please don't take it that way. I don't care that you're a woman making a comic book. I just don't care that you're a woman. It doesn't bother me. I don't care that you go to church. I don't care how you vote. It makes no difference to me. The book looks cool. The concept is cool. I want to buy it. That's what matters to me. And I think that's what matters to most people when we get out there and start to actually connect with people. That's what they're interested in. They're not really interested in all that other stuff.
It's all white noise.
Yeah, it's white noise. And so when we start trying to sell our book for Kickstarter so that Kickstarter will push us up in the algorithms, we're not selling to the fan anymore. We're selling to the corporation, and that's where it all goes wrong, I think. When you start trying to sell to a political party, it's stupid. And when you try to say, well, buy my book to own the libs, well, that's a stupid reason to spend my money. If I want to own the libs, I'll just say something they don't like on Twitter and watch them burn. Watch them burn in their skull for a week or two because I said something they thought was mean.
I'm just like, I would just say I thought slavery was illegal.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, you know, just because it's legal doesn't mean it's right.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, there's that too.
That's what I always tell people. But this looks good, so definitely do. Let's take a look at this trailer. So it has a play button, so you do have a trailer. I'm not gonna make it big. I'm gonna keep it kind of small, but I'm gonna zoom in on it.
Okay.
I don't
will
stream the same way
probably
everybody else does.
contact Pedro for some help with my next trailer.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, Pedro's very
The shop's
reasonable too.
open.
Yeah, I really.
So, what I have Pedro do for me is I have him take the art and animate the pages. And I'll show my trailer one before we close today so that you can see it because my campaign closes in 15 minutes.
Yeah, there's 2 tiers. Like, actually, you can show your trailer, Luke, and then you can show mine. So she can select both. It's like different price points. And dude, I know we're all indie. We're all like, keeping our dollars close. So that's taken into consideration when we do budget.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So here, check this out. So let's watch your trailer.
Let's see it.
All right.
I stream differently.
That's it. Thankful.
32 seconds is a great length.
I appreciate the length.
Yeah.
There's room for improvement.
More art.
Yeah.
I like the text. The music was pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel like that kid that just discovered PowerPoint on some level. So
It's really exciting. It's like, I'm editing, but dude, like editing follows like very basic rules to make things engaging, and they're not that hard. So it's just a matter of let me know how far you want to go with it. And dude, the fact that you're explaining to me that power, I'm already thinking about effects. Things are gonna happen like in the background with him, with the whole like. I'm trying.
So for $10, you can get the book digitally.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for $25, you get the full book.
Yeah.
Yep.
Physical copy.
Yep.
Does that also come with the digital version, or no?
I don't remember.
Okay. How many pages is this?
It's 30 pages.
Okay.
30 pages?
I would put that up here on the front too, like at the beginning.
That's important.
30-page comic. You know, I always do these approvals for Fund My Comic, their campaigns, and I'll tell them like, look, you need put art on there, say what the book is, give a quick pitch about what the book's about, and let them know what you want, what you need the money for. That's really what backers want to know, so that they can. It's like, oh, you want the money for production or for print? You know, because I
want the money for issue number 2. So
there you go. Because life is so fast paced these days, right? And so that's why, trying to put it in video is so good, because you can reach a lot of people with a quick video. We do these long form streams, and I'm noticing that my views are still pretty good, but I'm losing audience towards the end of the 3-hour stream. So we're probably going to start doing a 2-hour. We're just going to start moving it down because I still have work to do. We all have work to do. And so we're probably going to shorten that, but I'm starting to do I'm scheduling a lot of short videos to be put out on my channel to get information out, because that's, I think, what do I watch all day? I watch shorts.
Yeah.
I'll listen to this while I'm working in the background.
Yeah, my one friend, Society Movies, he does the Barroom podcast, and he'll take different topics and sort of. I got a cat. So.
Oh, nice cat. Yes. So, you have got 16 backers, guys. Let's get one backer.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's get at least one backer over here on this book. This looks great. I want.
Atlanta has a terrible human trafficking problem, probably because of Hartsfield Jackson being like the busiest airport in America. So I know we talked about like just having fun and stuff, and I feel like this is the gravitas part of your show.
Well, we can have gravitas and still have fun. Yeah.
I really want to give my children a better world to live in, and I think they need heroes. They don't need that many anti-heroes,
I mean, it's commendable.
We talk about that all the time.
Remember that we need to entertain first, because people use comics for escapism, And picking up topics that are dear and near to our hearts, it's awesome. But if it turns into a pamphlet, it talks about human trafficking,
Well-
should be about a comic book. But dude, this looks amazing. Like, you don't know how
I
this
would love
problem.
to put a panel in the back.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, you know, so CJ,
but-
you and I have a like, there's a connection with that human trafficking thing. I use that in my hybrid story. You know, that's a problem there. But
It is.
you know, it's obviously way more fantastical than, you know, it's not less street level and it's more supernatural stuff that's going on and behind the scenes things. But human trafficking is an issue, and we need to bring light to it. You know, I lived in Jacksonville, Florida, which is pretty close to Atlanta as far as human trafficking, but not as bad as Tampa. Tampa, Florida is one of the top locations in the United States for human trafficking because it's in the Gulf, and you can easily get to another country from there.
Yeah.
And it is so bad, and we don't realize how many people are, and just because, you know, human trafficking isn't just the movie Taken, you know, where they're out on a boat somewhere being raped. It's not just that. It's not just that. It is what Jeffrey Epstein did, where they coerced young girls into a life of prostitution, where they could be used, where they felt like they had no other opportunity, where they were abused. Human trafficking takes a lot of different faces and a lot of different shapes.
The exploitation of workers.
Yeah.
What they do to the Tamil in Saudi Arabia, for example.
Yeah.
They get there, they take their passports, and they work in construction for 3 years, and they have no rights.
It's slavery. It's what it is. It's slavery.
Like, what's happening?
What's happening? It's not just sex. Yeah, it's not just sex. It's that too. Yeah. So the fact that you put that in your story, absolutely, you should use it as a platform to bring some awareness to it. And I think that's great because comics have an opportunity to do that, and it's really cool that you're doing it.
I
Guys,
would
we need
say
you
too.
back
I
here.
think this is one of those rare ideas where, like, most everybody, like 99% of people, will say this is wrong, and it doesn't matter your politics either. And I think that's you know, like I tell people, like, when it comes to politics and stuff, my family is America. In many ways, we have the hardcore Republicans and the hardcore Democrats, and I got libertarians now, thanks to my in-laws. So it's always, and you know, we still love each other though, and we still want the best for each other, and we still support each other. And so I think a lot of politics today is focusing on the division and not necessarily where we can unify.
Right.
And I think this is a good starting point. Yes,
It really
human
is.
trafficking bad.
There's a lot of things that bind us more than tear us apart, and we don't focus on that.
Yeah,
So
and that's
let me
kind
show
of what
you-
I try to do with people in general. Is like, where can I connect? Where can I agree? Where am I not going to agree? But I will focus on what we can agree on.
Yeah. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna show off my trailer because my project
Obviously
ends
better.
in 9 minutes. But this is what Pedro did for me. Okay. This is my art from the books that he adapted. All right.
All right.
Which I think your trailer with your art and this that you got going, I think would be great. What Pedro can do. So here, check this out.
Lockdown Games and Luke Stone Studios presents Hybrids, the role-playing game. This core rules to the new Base Plus 2 game engine allows you to design your own character and create your own homebrewed adventure, complete with charts, maps, and every resource needed to dive right into the Hybrids universe on your own, or continue where the quick play left off with a brand new module. Get caught up on the series with the Killing Field trade paperback, enhanced with creator commentary and behind-the-scenes information. This special edition gives you even more value in entertainment. All this and more on Fund My Comic.
Well, yes, that was much better.
Yeah, dude, the thing that helped is that the art was already catered to. It was properly drawn. and when things are properly drawn, it's really easy for me to use that style of animation. And with what I'm seeing with your book, it's going to be a breeze. So
Okay. Well, I'll have to get your contact info from.
And then let's look at Tropical Magics.
Yeah.
So you can see now this is obviously a lot more than mine. So check that out. Great trailer. Now, I mean, obviously that's a lot more animation.
Yeah.
That's a higher budget, right?
Yeah, it's a higher budget, but since I charged myself, it was a little bit schizophrenic. But yeah, like that's full animation, and I mean, I did that because that's my trade, and I love to do what I do.
Showed
and
it off, man.
Yeah, I've done,
and it's
like,
worth showing off. But hey, I want to point something out. Do you guys see that? How many backers did we have before?
Yay, we had
there
16.
you go.
We had 16, and we have 18. We put a little bacon on it, and you know what that means, guys.
You know what that means.
You know what that means. Let's dance. That's right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with this, CJ, but whenever we get whenever we get some money raised for someone, we make the bird dance. So if people want to see the bird dance, they can either super chat, super sticker, or back one of the projects that we're featuring. And so if the numbers go up while we're watching, the bird dances. So that's how we work it.
Nice.
We love making the bird dance. Let's see, and every time it goes up, we make the bird dance. And so we've only had. If you guys want to see the bird dance again, you got to give us another backer. But this is a really cool looking project.
Like I said, I'm all of the funds are for fulfillment and issue number 2. So
yeah, that's great. I can't. You sent some books for the little store that we're doing.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You are a very talented writer.
Thank you.
You are a very talented writer.
I'm a very bad marketer, I think, though. That's why it's hard to convince other people.
God, aren't we all?
I think get people with the program.
That's the number one search is how
I think
market.
Cecil had it right. Buy my book. Buy my book. Buy
my book. Yeah.
Well, like I kind of get that, like trust is like the currency that a lot of people are using, and that's why it has become like I'm a person of pretty like genuine like good faith and goodwill, and it's like I'm not gonna sit here and be like Pedro obviously contracted out someone else to do his work. No, I'm not gonna be like that person. I'm like, this is really cool. This is talented. This is awesome.
Well, I mean, but that's why we work together in this community. I think that's why the community gets so. It gets very tight knit too. Like when you are working with people, that you work with, like they know, like it's like Randy and I, like we work together. We have people that we like to work with. You see Patrick Gamma's colors on my books, on his books. You know, we hire sometimes similar artists, like some of the same people. We just keep contracting the same. Whenever Luke Stone Studios does something, you'll notice there's like 2 or 3 artists that I use, 2 or 3 letterers that I use, and a couple of artists that I actually trust to do some things. And then we connect, you know, with Pedro. Pedro is kind of our animation guy. We keep him busy and
I'm
we work
looking
with them.
forward to his animation videos myself.
Yeah. and then since we're one of the few shill shows that's left, that is, and I'm going to say that's CG friendly, right? Most of us here are in that group, but they are, there's a lot that if you are in that if you're in that affiliation at all, then they don't let you on their channels. Like they don't care. And then there's people that
really,
yeah. And then there's people that, well, I don't want to come on Nerd Bacon because of the CG connection. I don't want people thinking I'm comics geek.
Who doesn't like bacon?
I will say, like, as like a newcomer, because this is my first official comic, I don't understand a lot of the comics.
Don't worry about it. It's stupid.
Well, and that's kind of where, like, I know, like, you're supposed to know your fault lines when you're dealing with people, and that's part of the reason why I don't show my face a lot, is like because I don't actually know if somebody's going to take what I say offensively or not. I know I can't control that either, and I'm smart enough to say that, you know.
Right now, you're just a little postage stamp, so don't worry
think that's why some people lean into it too. Like they say offensive things and lean into it.
Well, I will say, like, when I got my first exclusive cover, Bounding Into Comics did a little featurette on it, and I was just talking to my the person who interviewed me is one of my friends. I've known him for years, and I was just like, yeah, I decided to write this because I'm the whitest white girl out here, and I could write a better black superhero comic than the guy who did that Miles Morales Thor comic.
Yes.
And, and it's like that's kind of like I said, I'm a person of goodwill in the many sense, but it's like I could do a better job, and it's really
You're the person at Walmart at Christmas time with the bell. I know, Goodwill.
Look,
maybe
you
not.
can do a better job, and I'm sure you did. I've read your books. You're good.
Oh, well, it's nothing to do with racism at all. It's storytelling.
No, it is. It's totally storytelling. Let's welcome some of the folks from
the art draws you in, but they want a good story.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys haven't
Comics,
noticed,
welcome. Tree Goblin, welcome.
I happen to
Octagon,
be
welcome.
Black. And I wouldn't touch a Tanahisi Coates book at gunpoint.
Yep. I'm not in any group. I just make comics and respect the people who buy them. Amen. That's what we're trying to do.
Place to be, you know, like people are more than 2-dimensional people.
Exactly.
You know?
Right. They're more than their skin, and they're more than their sex organs.
Yeah.
People are so much more than that.
Yeah, I think.
Thank God.
Yeah, you miss a lot of stuff when you look at just the outside, and I mean that's my answer to this is like if anybody says why are you a white girl drawing this, or it's like, well,
why not?
I want to be more than just what I look like.
That's why I'm so proud of Pedro. He adds diversity.
So my cat's here for the burn dance, by the way. So if anybody wants to know,
come on, let's get another bat. Let's get 19, so we can make that bird dance again.
Let's make Pedro's rooster dance.
Oh, dude,
Pedro's
no, those guys are fighters.
Fighters.
Yeah.
Yep, and then this is closing out. This might be done actually.
How's the full
This might be finished.
Is it done?
Closes in 2 minutes. Closed 2 minutes ago.
Closed 2 minutes ago.
Yep. Yep. We are done with that, guys. So you won't be able to get these books for a hot minute. Actually, we're gonna hold off on. So if you didn't get a copy of the new trade, or you didn't get a copy of the RPG, you are going to have to wait a bit, guys. It's we're keeping this thing closed for a bit. So.
Well, it's a great looking campaign, Luke. I would be very proud of it.
Yeah, dude.
It looks really nice. So.
Yeah, we did pretty good over on did pretty good over on Indiegogo. But people
What
were
did
like,
they
well, I'm waiting
say
for
if
Fund
you
My
don't
Comic. Why are
first
you competing
succeed?
against yourself? We just didn't know when Fund My Comic was going to launch.
Yeah.
Because of the developer that we were working with, and we switched back, and we were able to get up in a couple of weeks once we worked with someone. Once we went back with who we were working with. I'm a member of 3 cults. Tree Goblin is member
Wow.
of 3 cults there. Ages
Wow.
of Welcome. Ages of Heroes
So it's
back.
nice to have some variety with your Kool-Aid, I guess.
That's a big
Yeah,
commitment.
check out Justin's YouTube. I think everyone should have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I'm a part of a network that we've created. Where did Bunny go?
We lost him. Like he's been having like funny internet for a while now. I've noticed.
Yeah,
And
I
he
just
comes
I
and
didn't
he
even know.
goes.
Didn't even notice him drop out. He might be tired.
And it's
he works
afternoon also,
Thursdays.
so I need to run.
Yeah, we need to cut out
Yeah.
of here. Everybody
Yeah.
check out Randy over at aerocomics.store. All of his stuff's over there. We got a great t-shirt up there. I can't die. I'm busy making comics.
Death can wait.
Death can wait. I'm busy
I'm
making
making comics. Yeah,
That's a
Check
great
out
one.
that shirt.
That's how
It is
I
a great
feel.
shirt.
Yeah.
The Fool on Fund My Comic. Come on.
That's right. The
Yeah,
Fool on
go check
Fund
out
My
the
Comic.
Fool on Fund My Comic right now.
Indie
It
Comics
is-
Network, Friday morning, Comics by Night. We'll be looking at Alex Nino this week, and Sunday Funnies this Sunday at 9 a.m. We'll be probably talking about the Quest and the old time comic book rack that's been
Ooh, that
sitting
sounds
behind
fun.
me all this whole time.
Sounds fun.
Congratulations. 60% there. Congratulations.
Almost there. Yep, 301.
Awesome.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Get there,
everybody.
guys.
Take a look
Yeah.
at that campaign. You won't regret it. It's a fun book. It's a very fun
So
book.
every
It is a
time
fun
he
book.
defeats a villain, he takes part of their clothing and adds it to his costume
As a trophy, yeah.
as a trophy. That's awesome. Yeah.
It'll show up on his costume eventually. He steals a shoe in one story. The shoe shows up in a future story.
Nice.
Just the way he works. Same thing with ties or pants, especially.
He's
pants.
an old character, isn't he?
He's been around for a little while.
Yeah.
It was printed in black and white before, but he's such a colorful character and he deserves color. And
Yeah.
Luke found such a great colorist in Patrick that I had to do it and
Yeah.
shape up the dialogue a little bit, re-letter it, and bring it back out. And it looks like a whole different animal. And
It's-
Patrick
yeah,
went through. If you
fantastic.
look at the cover used to be solid on the original printing. If you close up on that cover, it's got all sorts of little patchwork patterns back
Yeah.
behind it, real light.
Oh, wow.
That
That's
Patrick
awesome.
put in. It was a beautiful touch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun book. I'm just finishing up the print file on it now.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Look at that stitching.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick's fantastic. I love that guy.
So the character
little-
has the mutant power to sew.
He does, doesn't he? I forgot
what it
that.
is.
Yeah, look at this. $3 for a PDF, guys.
$3
Oh,
for.
yeah.
I
$3
just
for
want you to
PDF.
read it. And $5
Okay.
for the physical copy. You're gonna want a physical copy.
Hey, Luke, I'm sorry to interrupt. I have to go.
That's fine. Yeah.
My kids, I just got a call from the kids' school. So
Yeah.
it's time to
Take
go.
care.
Yeah, guys, check
But,
out.
Thank you for making the bird dance for me. So.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
bet.
guys, check that out. Check out the Fool. And guys, we're gonna cut out of here. I got
And
a
you
lot
know
of work
what?
to do.
Luke,
I'd like to
I
come on again, so
Yeah.
hopefully you won't mind the intrusion again if I show up.
No, show
Oh,
up
no.
anytime.
Yeah.
All
Always
right, thank
welcome.
you.
Hey, look, I
Thank
haven't
you
been
for
playing.
adults, you know.
All right, I'm running too. We'll see you soon.
Great.
Take care,
Take
Andy.
care,
Bye.
everybody. Thanks a lot.
Hey, look, I haven't been playing, man.
Sure.
Like, I got a backer today, and I
Oh,
didn't get the bird.
Oh, you got a
Give me the
backer?
bird. Yeah, I did.
Hold on, let's go check.
and I
Did
did
it-
get the bird.
Give me the bird.
He's going to verify that, Pedro, before he makes the bird.
Yeah, I gotta
work.
verify. Oh, you did. You did. You were at
Yeah.
5. Now you're at 6. Guess what?
There you go.
Making that friggin' bird
Let's
dance.
see that bird.
Awesome. Guys, yeah. Guys, please like and subscribe to this channel. And we do network stuff quite often where we will do a multi-stream out to everyone's channels to do launches and closes. So it's quite a great little network. We go promoting each other's channels and each other's work and growing each other's individual audiences. It's fantastic. So don't forget to like. We are over on Fund My Comic as well. You got to check out Fund My Comic. Yep, we are partnered with Critical Blast Logistics. You're going to want to make sure if you are trying to get your stuff fulfilled and getting it out to everyone, you're going to want to check out RJ and his work over there. He is closely tied in with Fund My Comic, and so he can help you with your fulfillment and your shipping cost and all of those things if you reach out to him. Yep, and don't forget we have Tuesday nights. We're still doing Tuesday nights right here.
He's fulfilling Fiendish too here pretty soon.
Yes, he's fulfilling Fiendish. Yeah. Well, he'll add it once he's done with that one, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's grouping up he's nice roster.
He's like the Fool, except he adds logos.
Right? Yeah, he's like the Fool of shipping. And don't forget our Tuesday night show. We do a bit of shilling over there as well, so you can check that out if you need if you need a book pushed or you need a little signal boost. I also do loop draws, so I'll draw your IP, but you have to be there. It's about an hour and a half. We just sit and chat while I draw your picture, and then you have some free art to work with. And sometimes they're pretty good, and sometimes they get used for covers. And so sometimes that is. I want to thank you guys for being
has
here.
an awesome looking book.
He does. That book is going to be amazing. It launches very soon, doesn't it?
I love the play on the title.
Thank you. Yeah, May 19th. We go live. We're going on Bancroft that night. It should be fun, man. I'm excited. I'm a little nervous.
Yeah,
but
you'll do well.
I'm expecting. My prediction is 10K on that book.
Yeah, dude.
And just hold that.
The book looks awesome, dude. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty good at predicting that. Like I predicted 6 to 7, an easy 5K, but 6 to 7K for the Mythicals. That's what I predicted.
Mm-hmm.
And there it is. And I predicted 1,300 for my campaign, and I made that. So, because I knew how much work. So campaigning takes a lot of work, guys, and you realize how much work you.
And I have backed mine up indefinitely, Luke, just to let you know, to make it the best that it can be.
There you go. Yeah, I know
and
you got a lot of work
John
to
Dillard
do.
is doing a cover for me.
That's going to be great. And for my comic, we're here to help you get that thing ready. I also want to remember everybody be praying for C. Michael Lanning, who is the artist for Calico, and he's worked with us. We're good friends with them. We love them very much. He's over on the Indie Comic Book Network. And he is the guy that drew Crispy. He's responsible for our mascot. So let's be praying for him. He's got some pretty serious health issues, and let's be praying for him.
And Dan Plagle too. Dan Plagle.
Dan Plagle as well.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, he's got some serious health issues. Boob Dan, yeah. I'm gonna be finding out what we can do to help the Lannings, and I'll be promoting that on here as well, so that we can.
Maybe, did you know James Hayes, Luke?
I did know James. He was one of our
So
one
keep
of our
his
regulars
family in
the
your
chat.
prayers too.
Yeah, that hurt when I found out about James. That one actually hurt. I miss him in the chat.
He let me know a couple months before, and I put a dedication in my book and made sure he got to see that. Before he got a copy.
It's terrible. Terrible news. It breaks my heart that we lost him.
He was like Frog G, dropping those links everywhere.
Yeah, he was amazing. So yeah, guys, let's be praying for their family as well. Remember, this industry, there's a lot of people tearing things down here in this industry, and T-Bunny is back. Yeah, be ready to check out his book launching very soon. It's going to be a great book. I think it's going to be amazing. He's put a lot of work into it. And we'll probably do a multi-channel network stream for his launch as well. Hopefully he gets to launch on somebody like Bancroft too. That's a great channel. Be sure to check out Michael Bancroft's channel. Let's help him grow as well. But let's grow everyone's YouTube channels. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell. We do encourage channel members. If someone becomes a channel member, we also make the bird dance. We make the bird dance for anything that makes the cash register ring. Basically, is how that works. Yes, James Hayes was an incredible supporter and moderator. Great friend to CG. He really was, and he's going to be missed very much. Out of Obscurity will also be launching as well. Yes, it will. It will be launching very soon. We're working on getting all the art together to make a really, really cool looking campaign page is what we're trying to do. And we're going to make a neat trailer and all that. We're going to put the work into it that it needs. But it's a kind of a commercial for all of our talents is what we're doing. And it's really good, the content that's going in there, guys. You're not going to want to miss. So there's a lot of people in this industry that tear things down. They're complaining all the time, but we're trying to make things better, right? So we need to build up more than we're tearing down. Something that a mentor of mine said, he always told me to leave the wood pile higher than I found it. And that's why I want to encourage you guys with, please leave the wood pile higher than you found it. And, it wouldn't be Nerd Bacon without the song. So please, guys, be careful out there.
Yeah.
Let's be careful out there. Let's be careful out there. We had a 187 at the 7-Eleven on the corner of 4th and Main. 2 Caucasians of the male persuasion put a bullet through the cashier's brain. Moving on, I see it 211, half a dozen 459, 2 AEWs, a GTA, and several miscellaneous crimes.